Those of you following over on the Bud Light live stream, we certainly appreciate you hanging out with us today as well. If you want to follow us, you can. Simply 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. You can hit us up over on Facebook. You can find us on Facebook fan page, by the way. Go to facebook.com/The Bill Michaels Show. Facebook.com/The Bill Michaels Show. You can find us on Twitter at Bill_Michaels. And then there's YouTube on the YouTube channel, which is YouTube and Twitch TV, which is youtube.com, and just search Bill Michaels. Same thing with Twitch. If you are watching on the Bud Light live stream today, you will notice something. We are not in studio today. Today, it's beautiful. So today, we are doing it Tiki style. We are kind of outside. We are at the Tiki bar today, and all set up. There is nothing better than a Good Friday when it's going to be in the 80s. You got a breeze blowing, and I just figured, you know what? Let's take it outside. So that was from yesterday when I said, hey, we got a little bit of a surprise. We're actually going to do it from the bar outside, and got a cigar going, and got a beverage or two or five underneath the Tiki bar. So good stuff. So got the Social House T-shirt on today from our friends over there in Menominee Falls on Lisbon Road. Terrific place. One of our great sponsors for our on-site stuff. So that being said, outside today. Hopefully it sounds great, but the quality is fantastic, and I couldn't be any happier with the setup today. So thanks to Mark and Dave, who came over and kind of ran all the wiring and such. 877-867-1670. Brewers on the road. You got Adrian Hauser on the hill tonight against Jeff Hoffman. The Reds suck. Their bullpen is just awful. I mean, absolutely, positively awful. Hoffman is not that good. He's 2-3 with an ERA well over 4, and Moustakas has gone down. He finds himself back on the IL. Here's the question. Here's the question for you. What do the Brewers need to do for Andy Haynes to be allowed on the flight to come home? Now, ponder that for a minute. What do the Brewers need to do for Andy Haynes to be allowed on the flight to come home? Because if this team goes to Great American Ballpark, where, oh, by the way, it's going to be mid to upper 80s in Cincinnati. Now, if you've never been in Cincinnati in the Queen City, it is growing up there. Not only is it warm, but there is a level of humidity that just the ball hangs. I mean, it just hangs. And that is a hitter's ballpark when it's warm and when the wind is blowing up the river valley. And left field, it becomes a short porch. So this team, if you can't hit home runs, if you're going to do the grip it and rip it, and you're not going to be successful in Cincinnati, you stink. That's all there is to it. You just stink. You have no business ever playing Major League Baseball again. So here's the question. What do the Brewers offensively need to do to allow Andy Haynes to get on that plane and come home? 877-867-1670. Again, 877-867-1670. What do they need to do for Andy Haynes to be able to get on that plane and come home? You've also got round 2 of the PGA Championship. We'll keep you up to date on that as well. Also, in addition to that, you got Bucks basketball. Bucks tomorrow down at the Fiserv Forum. 1 o'clock tip-off against the Miami Heat as they begin that postseason series. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. By the way, speaking of the Cincinnati Reds, we're going to talk with Mo Egger from ESPN in Cincinnati. Good friend, good guy. He's going to join us coming up in about an hour from now, and he's going to talk about Cincinnati's side of things because that team is faltering big time after getting off to such an incredibly hot start. That is a franchise that really thought that they were going to be able to kind of put it all together and just take off. And remember, they lost Trevor Bauer in the offseason, kind of the anchor of that rotation. Sonny Gray has been good, but they are hurting. And they've had injuries, but nevertheless, they just their bullpen is just awful. So we're going to talk with him coming up a little bit later on in the program as well. But we'll talk some Bucks basketball. Now that the postseason's here, many of you said, hey, wake me up when they get to the postseason. Now we're going to gauge your interest. We're going to see if you're really into Bucks basketball. If Bucks basketball becomes exciting now, or if you're waiting for the next series or the Eastern Conference Finals, at what point do you become really, really engaged when it comes to Bucks basketball? So we'll get into that discussion a little bit later on today. Got a lot of people chiming in. This one is from Carmen that says Heat in 5. This one says they need to win the series and provide the pitchers with run support. Jeff from Wanakee, hey, Bill. In Raleigh, North Carolina, taking the car of my daughter after hip surgery. I'm listening to you on Facebook Live. Do you think if Aaron Rodgers sits out, there's going to be a long-term effect for the Green Bay Packers organization in getting top talent to come to Green Bay in the future, which is a question that I wanted to deal with today as well. So we got a lot of stuff to get to. And appreciate it all. So thanks so much for chiming in. Nice, sunny, warm weather in the western portion of the state today as well, according to Scotty. So a lot of good stuff today. 877-867-1670. Mark says, are you drinking yet? Because you see the 5 o'clock somewhere sign over my shoulder. Yes, it is over my shoulder, but no, I am not drinking yet. We don't do the beverages, the alcoholic beverages, until the last segment of the show on Friday, and then we do the Chug Challenge. And I have here on the back side of the bar, there is actually a refrigerator. And, well, looks like somebody's been in the refrigerator. So, how about that? But there is a few Bud Lights left in there. So we will have one ice cold by the time we get to the end of the program today. 877-867-1670. This portion of the program brought to you by our good friends over there at Quick Trip. Quick Trip providing you the best, lowest legal prices on 24 and 30 packs on many of your favorite brands, including what we have right here on our bar, which is the Bud Light, also Bud Light Seltzer. And they're a big sponsor of the program. And thanks to Quick Trip for being the official fuel provider and convenience store sponsor of the Bill Michaels Sports Talk Network. James says that this team has to get at least 4 to 5 runs a game and show that they can hit the ball in many different facets. Okay. When you say in many different facets, are you talking like small ball? Are you talking the ability to lay down bunts? Are you talking hitting the opposite direction, hitting home runs, and hitting for average, getting guys on base? Or kind of give me what it is your thought is. I appreciate it, though. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Give us a shout. This one's from Mark. Mark says, I'd leave Andy Haynes in Cincinnati no matter what. This team is awful offensively, and at the plate they look completely lost. In my opinion, it's time for a new voice. I said it earlier this week that I thought it should be time for a new voice. The Brewers, my assumption is this, and here's like the prediction sure to go wrong. If the Brewers struggle bad in Cincinnati, let's say they win 2 out of 3 only, they win, game 1, 2-1, they lose game 2, 1-0 or 2-0, and they win game 3, 2-1. And they score in 3 games. They score a total of 4 runs against the Reds, against a bad bullpen. I would assume at that point that this team, when they get back home, would have to make a move, wouldn't you? You would assume they would have to. Because you can't continue to watch this go in such a downward direction. So who knows? Maybe with it feeling like baseball again, with it feeling warm out, that. Like I said, it's going to be in the 80s down in Cincinnati. It's going to be humid. The wind's going to be blowing out. We'll see. Maybe there's a rejuvenation factor there. Maybe they go into Great American and they hit the hell out of the baseball, and suddenly they start to feel their mojo all over again. I don't know, but it's I think a lot of eyes in many different facets are on this series. In Miami right now, 70 degrees, nice breeze, sunny, and feeling gentlemanly. Are you at the club? Early club? Is that what you're saying? Feeling gentlemanly? Did you walk in with a fistful of singles? 877-867-1670. Mark says, what cigar do you have today? It is a Perdomo, and it's an artisan Maduro. A Perdomo artisan Maduro cigar. So, and it's nice. It's nice outside today. This is the way to do the show. Kinger says Bucks in 6. Also, that the Brewers win by 6. I hope you're right. Put it this way: if the Brewers don't pound on this bullpen, then something is beyond horrifically wrong offensively for the Milwaukee Brewers. It would be something unbelievably wrong. This bullpen in Cincinnati, the worst in baseball. They're terrible. I mean, not only are they bad in the sense of just giving up runs, they can't throw strikes. This bullpen, I think they lead the majors in walks as well. I was watching them the other day on the MLB Network, and they bring in their reliever. He couldn't throw strikes, walks the first 2 batters. He gets ousted. Next one comes in, walks the next batter, gives up a base hit, then walks 2 more. They haven't got an out. They've gone through 2 relief pitchers, given up 3 runs, and have the bases loaded again. And they don't get an out, and it's all walks. They can't throw strikes. And when they do, they're taking it yard, man. It's a bad baseball team, or a bad bullpen on that baseball team. So if you can't get healthy against the Cincinnati Reds, I don't know who you can get healthy against. If they don't hit the ball in Cincinnati, I don't have a lot of hope. I start to really lose a lot of hope for this team. 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, find us. Mark says Craig Counsell needs to shake things up. He needs to not only shake up his coaching staff, he needs to shake up the lineup. Aaron says, what kind of a lineup can we expect from Craig Counsell? I think it's probably going to be similar to what we've seen. Jackie Bradley Jr. with a couple of bombs. You think that maybe he's going to get off the schneid a little bit. So if that's the case, maybe he can continue to hit. Colton Wong has certainly been solid. The problem is it's been the guys behind him. I'm not moving Christian Yelich. Christian Yelich, even though he was 0 for, he still ended up with 3 walks in that contest. He's starting to get his eye back. And remember, his strikeouts far outweighed his walks early on this season. Well, now things are starting to kind of even themselves out. If anything, he's starting to take more walks. He's got a better eye. So he's figuring out how they're pitching him. So, and I think some teams are actually looking at it as, hey, we'll go ahead. We're not going to give him anything to hit. We're not going to be the team that's going to put him back on track because the rest of this team can't hit. So go ahead and walk him. Let him go fishing. Walk Christian Yelich, because then all you got to do is get to the guys behind him because they're not doing their job. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But Christian Yelich, I'm good with Yelich right now. It's the rest of this lineup. I hope that Travis Shaw has usually hit pretty good in Cincinnati too. So I'm hoping Travis Shaw kind of busts out. You'd love to see a couple of guys. Colton Wong's hit well in Cincinnati, so hopefully his numbers look good there. So hopefully he's able to stay hot in that sense. But you get Shaw, you get Wong, you get Christian Yelich, Narvaez, all those guys kind of picking themselves up. Who knows? Maybe hitting becomes contagious rather than what we've been witnessing here as of late. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up? Do so. Would love to hear from you today, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on Facebook, whatever it happens to be, YouTube, Twitch, whatever it happens to be. Wayne says, you are 3/4 of the way to the Mad Dog and Merrill set. Yeah, you know what? Not doing any grilling today, though. No grilling happening. Nothing there. Not going to do any. I mean, I could. I guess we could fire something up here in the next hour or something if we wanted to. Fire up brats or something. What we need to do is get because there's space here for about 30 people. We should do this in front of people. We should bring people over and fire up the Traeger grills on the other side back there. And then you can put people all over the place. You can put people here on the patio, on the back of the patio. And if you're watching on the Bud Light live stream, you can put people over there by the fire pit and hang out over there for a little while. So there's plenty of room here. Plenty of room all over to join. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
This is from Jacob. Jacob says, I want to see Andy Haynes have to push the plane back to Milwaukee. Maybe then they will get the message. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Go ahead and give us a shout. I want to hear from you. 877-867-1670. Give us a call. What has to happen for you to feel better offensively about this Brewers team coming out of Cincinnati? What has to happen? Mark says, what does humidity have to do with the flight of the baseball? It it holds the ball. I don't know how else to put it. Humidity, when it's, how do I put this? There's a thickness to the air and an updraft to the air, which holds the ball. The flight of the ball goes a little bit farther. I don't scientifically know. I just know that the ball in those humid climates, you look at Cincinnati, especially when you get the wind coming up the river valley, because where Cincinnati is, they're actually in the lower end by the river, and around Cincinnati, the actual downtown and around Great American Ballpark, it's all hills. You've got right across the river in Kentucky, you've got Western Hills, Mount Adams, you got all these different hills in that area, and that wind comes down that valley and it pushes the ball out left field and kind of sucks it up the river valley. With the humidity, it stays in the air a little bit longer. So I don't know how else to explain it, but that's the best I can possibly tell you. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Travis says, hey, Bill, I'm heading to Minneapolis this afternoon. What was the name of the restaurant in Woodbury that you mentioned yesterday? I love trying new places. It is called Zantigo's. It looks like a fast food Mexican chain, but I think there's only 3 of them left in the country, and they're all in Minnesota. It was originally in Minneapolis, was the corporate headquarters, and then they were all over the Midwest, and then gradually Taco Bell bought them out, and then they just closed them. They just got rid of them. So it's called Zantigo's, Zantigos. So go enjoy yourself. Go with a taco burrito, a cheese chilito, a couple of taco burritos, cheese chilito. You can't go wrong. If you really want to get crazy, do a bean and cheese burrito with no red sauce and no onion. I don't do onions. Do a bean burrito and then put some of that hot sauce in it. Oh, my goodness. Oh. Now, if you're going there with anybody, the car ride back could be nasty, but that's okay. It's worth it. Totally worth it. 877-867-1670. Give us a shout. This is from Mark. Mark says, the Brewers are not a good baseball team. Why do we think that suddenly they're going to start hitting above their average? Well, let's just say, Mark, that they hit the back of their baseball card by the time the season ends. And they hit their average, right? Well, that would mean if they're really below average, just to get to their average, they're going to have to hit high above their average for a period of time just to get you back to even, right? So therefore, that's when you start to think, okay, if this team goes on a little bit of an offensive roll, because it's taken them, what, a month and a half? Almost 2 months of baseball to get to this point. So to get back to even, you would have to hit that far ahead of your average for 2 months, which would take you through June and July, which would put you right in the thick of things. And pretty much with the pitching you're getting right now, most likely on top of the National League Central by more than a few games come the end of July going into August, and that's your stretch run, right? So think of it that way. If you're going to hit your average, what the back of your baseball card states, then you got to hit above your average right now. And then you would just, for the guys that are hitting right now or hitting their average or what have you, just stay consistent. That's it. Just stay consistent. This is from Angie. Angie says, sweet setup, SWEEEEET, sweet setup. Why don't we invite it over for a grill out? Why don't you do a listener party there at the house? It's not very often that most radio hosts do a listener party at their home. You know, I got to think about that. Maybe we do something like that. I don't know. I have to figure something out. My luck, somebody come over and get all hammered and fall down and then sue me. You know? So I don't know about that. Can't be doing big parties. Although I wouldn't mind it. Just throw everybody out back. Although, my luck, somebody go to the fire pit and fall in a fire or something, you know. Then we couldn't let you out. We'd have to just dispose of the body. Just toss you in there and burn you up. This is from who's this from? This is from Big Boy Red. He says, Reds, terrible baseball team. You guys should come in and sweep us, no problem. Joey Votto is barely hitting. And he says, Moustakas is not going to hurt you. He's hurt again. Thanks for the injured Moose. Hey, we didn't trade him to you. He was a free agent. You signed him. We didn't give him to you. You signed him. All we've got is Sonny Gray, and that's about it. And we've got an idiot for a manager. Things are not good down here in the Queen City. You're probably glad you moved away. I have been gone now. I moved here in 1999. I mean, that's how long it's been. We're in 2021. 21 years I've been gone. I've lived in Wisconsin more than I've lived in any other place my entire life. Think about that. Moved out, went to college when I was 18. Moved back home for a couple years, then went to Indiana for a while, was in Indiana, then back to Columbus, back to the Queen City for a short stint, and then moved to Wisconsin. So been around, been in numerous cities, but this is the longest I've ever stayed in one particular place. And I love it. Not going anywhere. That's the best part about it. Mark says the PGA Championship, who the hell is Brandon Grace? Brandon Grace right now atop the leaderboard. Don't know. But you know what? He's 3 under for the day today through 11. But who knows? Maybe it holds true. You know? Maybe it holds true. Where's he from? I don't even know where he's from. I don't know. He's 90th on the money list. I know that. So there you go. Couldn't tell you. We'll have to do a player search on Brandon Grace right now, leading the PGA Championship. Keegan Bradley. I mean, you got a lot of guys that are going to be teeing off a little bit later on. Right now, your leaderboard is Brandon Grace, Ian Poulter, Keegan Bradley, Victor Hovland, Brooks Koepka. I mean, all these guys are at 3 under par. They're all right up there near the top of the leaderboard. Aaron Wise, you can go on down the list from there. And then, Phil Mickelson at 1 under. Let's see here. He's 1 over for the day today. But we'll give you an update coming up here in a little bit on the PGA Championship. Is a lot of guys out on the golf course right now, and a lot of tee time still yet to have happened. 877-867-1670. What do you want to see out of the Milwaukee Brewers for this team to have more confidence in this team coming out of the Cincinnati series? I personally, like I said, I think that the head coach Andy Haynes, after what we witnessed in Kansas City, not a great team either. We saw what Atlanta did to them. We saw what Miami did to them. This team's not good offensively, and it's not a shortened slump. This is something that's been prolonged over 100 games now, going back to last season. So I think change for the sake of change needs to be made. We'll wait and see what actually happens, but nevertheless, let's go back to a comment that we had. And I wanted to get back into this. The discussion regarding the Packers and future free agents, future veterans. I think that was a great question. And I want to discuss that a bit because there's a couple of things that I think are pertinent here in regards to the Aaron Rodgers situation, what the long-term effects to the Green Bay Packers might be. Stay tuned. We'll get into that. Don't forget, coming up after the top of the hour, Mo Egger. He is with ESPN Radio in Cincinnati. He'll give us the breakdown of the Reds and the Brewers from his perspective coming up later on this evening as well. Stay tuned. We got more of the Bill Michaels Show broadcasting outside today in the Tiki Bar. Just beautiful skies, beautiful weather, a little bit of a breeze. Absolutely picture perfect. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show, Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Bill Michaels Show. We continue on out here in the beautiful weather today. It's one of our first opportunities to really get outside. The weather has gotten really, really nice in the area. Welcome back to the program. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at New Mail Medical Center. Give them a call, 414-455-4451. That is our friends from the New Mail Medical Center. They've got a 98% success rate in treating guys with ED. That's 98% success rate. The medical experts there, they can help you out. All you got to do is walk in and then just kind of give them a call and let them give you the checkup, the once over, so to speak. And even more so if you are feeling moody, if you are feeling sluggish, if you are feeling tired, you get the brain fog and such going on, you're over the age of 30, could be low T. And you can stop in, and it takes you about 10, 15 minutes for that to get that checked out. And then they can put you on a plan that just makes you feel a little revitalized all over again. I've done that. It's been fantastic. Then there's the all-in-one weight loss program. And that really does work. And if you just go in with a plan of saying, this is what I want to lose, this is the time in which I want to lose it, you give them 30 days and you're going to see some remarkable changes. And like I said, it really does work. So give them a call, 414-455-4451, 414-455-4451. That is the New Mail Medical Center. Just give them a call. Tell them we sent you over there. They're good people over there. So the long-term ramifications for the Green Bay Packers regarding this situation with Aaron Rodgers is what? And I was asked this, and people are going back and forth on the Bud Light live stream. By the way, if you want to follow us on the Bud Light live stream, you can. The video side of the broadcast today, outside here at the Tiki Bar, great breeze, feels terrific out here. So that's what you're seeing. But the long term, there's a couple of things to remember. One is guys will always look for the money. So when it comes to free agents, guys will always look for the money. They look for money, they look for facilities and such, and then they look at their opportunity to win. Now, they don't always put it in that echelon, so to speak, but if you're going to pay somebody a lot of money to come here, they're going to come here. Where the money is, that's where you can find players, because that's what they do. I mean, they pad the bank accounts. But I think when you saw what happened to Brett Favre, people thought, and free agents thought, okay, if they're going to do it to Favre, they can do it to anybody. It's the reality of the business, So I think long-term effect, I don't think it has much of a long-term effect. I think what has a long-term effect is if I'm a player and I am looking at numerous teams. Now, remember what Zadarius Smith said. When the Packers called, he wanted to play with Aaron Rodgers. That became a factor. So when he was courted by the Packers, he was looked at as saying, I've got an opportunity to win. So they were going to pay him the money. He had an opportunity to win and play football in a quarterback-driven league with a surefire Hall of Famer. That was some of the things that, the facilities, franchise, all that plays into it. But winning and money, those are the two big things. Right? Winning and money. So I think losing Aaron Rodgers, the way Aaron Rodgers is treated, is going to be a big deterrent. I think what's going to be the deterrent is if they push Aaron Rodgers out and the next guy is not the guy, then if Jordan Love is not the guy, then no, free agents aren't going to want to come here, because they're going to look at it as saying, okay, we can bolster a defense. I can be a better wide receiver. I can be a better running back. I can be a better defensive back, whatever. But if the guy that's leading us is not the guy, then I'm just going there for the money. And do you want a guy that's all in, or do you want a guy that's a mercenary? Because there's a difference. And I think veteran players, as they get to the backside of their career over the age of 30, that get out and are veteran and solid, that want not only to be paid but want a shot at a ring, you better have Jordan Love better be the real deal, right? So in the long-term effect of what's going on in Green Bay, I think maybe if I'm Jordan Love, I'm thinking, you know what, they got rid of Aaron Rodgers, they can get rid of me too. If indeed that's the direction it goes. So I'm thinking, if that happens, Jordan Love knows, short leash, what have you. Same with Blake Bortles and anybody else that happens to come along. But I don't think it's going to affect free agents from coming to Green Bay unless there is not a legitimate quarterback under center giving them the best shot at winning. If you put the same amount of money in front of two teams and one team has a quarterback and they're on the cusp of going to a championship, and the other one is the Green Bay Packers and they're toiling away at 500, I can't say that as a player, I would want to go there. And then, whatever you sign, if it's team friendly, that if you're not producing, that you're not going to see the end of that contract. They're going to cut you loose. You may understand that in many different facets because that's kind of the way the business is, not just with the Packers, but with almost everybody. But they'll cut you loose. So guys go where the money is. Money talks first and foremost. Number 2, the ability to win. And number 3 is probably further down the list. It's the facility. Maybe the coach, your coaching staff, your position coach. Maybe you know somebody that played for the Packers or coached for the Packers, or maybe you played for this coach before and you really liked him, and he gets on the phone with you and he says, hey, yeah, we got a legitimate shot here. We just need a couple pieces. Can you come here? I mean, that type of thing. That's when interpersonal relationships become prevalent, when guys are trying to find a team to play for. But it's money and it's winning. Those are the two things that almost are guaranteed to go hand in hand. So when you ask me about what the legacy of all of this means, if they do get rid of Aaron Rodgers and for the Packers and for all of this bad blood, I don't think it means much in the sense of trying to find free agents, but I think it means that you better be right when it comes to winning. They better have guessed right. I mean, if this thing falls apart, you better have guessed right with Jordan Love. Because if it falls apart and you're not winning and he's not showing you he's a winner, getting free agents to come here, you're going to have to way overpay to get them. And they're never, ever, ever going to live up to that contract. They're not. I mean, you really have gotten the most out of Zadarius Smith. That was a tremendous signing. Adrian Amos to a certain extent too, but Zadarius Smith, really good signing. Preston Smith, down year last year. He had one good year. Let's see if he has another one this year. But very, very, very rarely when you go out and sign a free agent does it ever really, really work out. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. John says, can't blame players if he chooses New York, Dallas, or Las Vegas, or Green Bay and dining at Applebee's. Doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. The nightlife, people want to make a big deal about the nightlife and where to go. First of all, there's some good restaurants. You ever been to the Chop House in Green Bay? Good restaurant. But I'll be honest. I mean, if you think that guys are going out and fine dining every night, you're crazy. Most of the time, this is the way it goes most of the time. You wake up and maybe you grab something at home. There are meals prepared every day inside the facility. So they're feeding you every day. And then you usually hit something with your buds. Maybe once a week you'll hit, maybe once every 2-3 weeks you'll hit a really nice restaurant. Guys usually, like on Tuesdays, they'll head to Milwaukee, or they'll go to Appleton and Lombardi's, or they'll do something else when they're on their off day. But for the most part, no. Guys are 6 a.m., 7 a.m. until 5 o'clock at night, and then it's home. They study, they do their thing, they get their bodies ready, and then they get ready for the next day. During the season, that's what they do. Out of season, who cares? Most guys don't stay in Green Bay anyway. Some do, but most guys don't. Most guys go home and, to where they're from. Hang with families, friends, whatever, take vacations. So most guys don't do that. So I think there's a big misnomer about you got to have some kind of crazy nightlife. Nah, not. If guys are looking for the nightlife, guys aren't coming to play for the right reasons. They're just not. Now, if you look at it as, okay, I'm getting the exact same amount of money. Let's just say, we'll say Tampa Bay or Miami, okay? There's Green Bay and there's Miami. I'm getting the exact same amount of money offered to me. Now I look at it as I can play at Lambeau Field and I can play with Aaron Rodgers and get a shot at winning a championship, or I can be in a rebuilding phase. How close is Miami? What do I want? What is my priority? If my priority is money and warm weather and nightlife, I'm going to Miami. If my priority is going to Green Bay, winning a championship, playing with a Hall of Famer, it gives me a legitimate shot at getting a ring, that's what I'm doing. 877-867-1670. Let's do this. We'll step away. We'll take a quick break. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. The Bill Michaels Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Bill Michaels Show, broadcasting live. We are outside today, Tiki Bar today. For those that are watching the Bud Light live stream and pay attention to the program via the stream and watch it video-wise, outside today at the Tiki Bar. That's where we're hanging out. 877-867-1670. Coming up after the top of the hour, Mo Egger from ESPN Radio in Cincinnati is going to be joining us. We'll talk with him, breaking down the Brewers and the Reds. And the Reds, their bullpen flat out stinks. So we'll talk with him about how bad they actually are. And then we'll Brewers side of things, because this team offensively has just been relatively inept, for lack of a better term. We're sitting here talking about the Packers and Aaron Rodgers and this whole situation. Eric says Rodgers being on with Kenny Mayne, I'm assuming he's going to be under contract before then. Rodgers is too calculated not to have some kind of a plan. No, I don't think he's going to be under contract before then. Be honest with you, I don't think we're going to see any kind of a movement in that. I mean, I would love to see that. I was asked again yesterday about my thoughts percentage-wise. I think everybody is looking for I think everybody's looking for comfort. I get asked all the time, what do you think? Give me the percentage that he stays. I've said all along, I think 70% of me says he goes. Others closer to the Packers in that situation have said 90% says he's gone because it has just gotten that bad. The thought is that the Packers have made their offer. I don't know the specifics, but it was less than what he wanted. And when they say less, I think it was less years than what he wanted. So, and I think that's where the schism began. And then they realized, holy mackerel, this is getting bad. They went back. They kind of gave him what he wanted. But by then, Aaron's like, you know what? Wash my hands of you. Talk to you later. So I don't know what's going to change, which is the reason I say 70% of me says he's gone. Now, I don't know the details and specifics. I only know a lot of the internal rumors. But it's just figure Aaron out. I don't think many people have, other than the fact that we know that, you get on the bad side, you're on the bad side. There's not a lot of in between. You're either in the inner sanctum or you're not. Or maybe he doesn't know you and you're at arm's length, but I don't know how else to describe it. So, but I really believe the more people I talk to, I did two national shows yesterday, and they said the exact same thing. The exact same question is, give us your percentage that Aaron Rodgers is going to be under center come opening day for the Green Bay Packers. And I said 70% of me says no, but who knows? That can change. Marv, Steve Stricker just eagled the 11th. Nice. Would love to see him make a charge. 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up, do so. 877-867-1670. This portion of the program is brought to you by our good friends, like I said before, over at Quick Trip, the official fuel provider of the Big Unit Cruiser. And that is coming from Cunis RV. Go to cunisrv.com. That is cunisrv.com. Also from our friends at Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the Bill Michaels Sports Talk Network. Mark says, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is coming back. This looks way too bad for Gutekunst and the Packers front office. Do you think the board makes changes? No. I think here's the reason why. Because you haven't seen Jordan Love take a snap yet. Let's just say that Rodgers doesn't come back, and they make a move, they trade him away. You haven't seen Jordan Love yet. So maybe Jordan Love does come in and just light the world on fire. Then the board says they wouldn't want to fire somebody and have the board look foolish because they fired somebody when they made the correct guess when it came to Jordan Love. So you don't see any movement. The board of the Green Bay Packers, and I've said this before, it is a double-edged sword when it comes to, because I know there's a lot of people that say, wow, if we had an owner. No, you kind of have to respect the setup of the Green Bay Packers because they move like an iceberg. They're not knee-jerk. They're not emotion-driven. It's very much let football be football, let business be business. It'll all meld together. As long as the business plan is always based off of the football plan, that's the direction in which you want to go. So I appreciate what the Packers have in an ownership formula, as opposed to what Jerry Jones, who, remember, Jerry Jones, they damn near had to tackle him to take Zach Martin because he was going to take Johnny Manziel. Remember that? Think about where the Cowboys would be had they not taken Martin, and they took Johnny Manziel instead. Think about what's going on with Daniel Snyder. Getting real friendly with Robert Griffin III and basically booting everybody out and giving Robert Griffin III the team, and then realizing, holy crap, I made a mistake. It's owners are single emotional people with money and power, and they can override everything. Whereas the situation you have in Green Bay, while at times you may not like it, it is probably the best. Pardon me. But I appreciate where they're at. I really do. Coming up the next hour, we're going to talk some baseball right out of the chute. Mo Egger of ESPN Radio in Cincinnati is going to be joining us. We'll talk to him about this god-awful pitching situation they have down in Cincinnati and their bullpen, which is just terrible. And we'll talk about the Brewers side of things, the National League Central side of things. They have had their dust-ups as well, obviously, with the St. Louis Cardinals. So we'll talk about the division itself. We'll get into that discussion. Also, we'll talk a little Bucks basketball, too. Bucks getting ready to take on the Miami Heat. 1 o'clock tip time tomorrow down at the Fiserv Forum. That game, the first one of the series, is going to be on ESPN, ABC. And you got the rest, believe right now on TNT. But we'll talk about, what are your thoughts, predictions, prognostications for Milwaukee Bucks basketball as well. So we've got 1 hour down, broadcasting live out here. Beautiful weather today. I think in a lot of the state. Now I know the northwestern portion of the state, you can get a lot of rain and a lot of rough weather, or at least saturating weather. God knows we need it though, right? I mean, when I was up in Pembine last weekend, as you drove north, there was a lot of signs, the Smokey the Bear signs. It said fire risk today, and they were all flipped to very high. So we know that a lot of this state throughout Wisconsin needs a lot of rain and a lot of moisture. So we do here. My grass is, I water my grass, I take care of my grass, but my neighbor's grass, a few of the lawns around me, they're kind of burnt up and in need of some rain as well. So we could probably use a little bit of it. Could use a little bit of it. I think we got some storms coming, on Sunday night, I think. And it's going to remain, though, in the 70s and the 80s. It looks like for the next week, all the way through the end of May. So that's some good news, right? Stay tuned. Got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up. Mo Egger from ESPN Radio in Cincinnati. He is going to be next up. Stay tuned. We got a lot more coming right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, tomorrow the NBA playoffs begin for the Milwaukee Bucks. They are the 3 seed in the East, taking on the seed Miami Heat. Tip-off is Saturday at 1 o'clock. And the Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo says last year's exit from the playoffs, courtesy of the Heat, is fuel for his fire.
But it's not about their punch, it's about our punch. Our punch was the regular season. It was the first punch. Now we got to be able to have a second punch. And that's what's going to make us great. Hopefully, we're prepared enough in the regular season and put ourselves in a position, get better and build good habits throughout the regular season. And now we're able to execute the second punch, which is basically just got to do what you do with more effort.
To the majors, Wednesday night, so the Milwaukee Brewers fall below 500 for the first time since the opening week of the season. They had last night off and are back at it tonight in Cincinnati when they take on the Reds. The Brewers, who currently sit third in the NL Central at 21-22, will look to get back in the win column tonight when they send Adrian Hauser to the mound opposite of Jeff Hoffman for a first pitch at 6:10.
So your current job isn't working out so well? Maybe you'd like a career where you work with your hands and make a good living. Have you thought of a career in a skilled trade like plumbing, electrical, or HVAC? You can be in demand and earn more than many college graduates without all the debt. To get your career started, go to buildyourcareerwi.org or just search online for ABC of Wisconsin today.
The University of Wisconsin has announced work on the South End Zone project at Camp Randall Stadium. Pre-construction has already officially begun and is expected to be completed for the 2022 season, and no seating will be impacted for this upcoming year. And finally, the Green Bay Packers are holding their first OTAs on Monday. Aaron Rodgers not expected to be in attendance. Blake Bortles and Kirk Benkirk will be joining Jordan Love to take all the quarterback reps. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
Welcome back. Michael on the air. to have you. And if you're watching over on the Bud Light live stream, we are in the Tiki bar today. And thanks to all of you on the network for joining us. Everybody's here now. The party has got everybody in attendance, and we are glad you are with us. 877-867-1670. You can hit us up on the phone line. You can also see us and respond over on Facebook fan page. Go to facebook.com/The Bill Michaels Show. You can find us on YouTube, the Bill Michaels channel on YouTube, which is live right now. Same on Twitch TV and Periscope over on Twitter. So plenty of ways to track down the program and to see where the broadcast is today as we sit here with our terrific sponsor Bud Light and the Bud Light and the Bud Light Seltzer sitting in front of us. We got our Chug Challenge coming up later on today in the program, and we may need a lot of beverages because you got two teams going at it, one that can't hit and one that can't pitch, mainly out of the bullpen. The Reds hosting the Brewers coming up tonight at Great American Ballpark. To talk more about it from ESPN Radio in Cincinnati, our good buddy Mo Egger now joining us. Mo, how you been, pal?
I'm just thinking about how many beers I would have chugged during the third inning yesterday when the Reds gave up 9 runs.
I was sitting there talking to, well, you know my buddy Scotty, so I was talking to Scotty the other day, and he's giving me blow-by-blow and play-by-play, and he's like, okay, they bring in a reliever, 2 walks, no outs. Okay, next, they bring in another reliever, base hit, 2 walks, no outs. They bring in another one. I just... The bullpen has been exponentially bad. Was this expected? Was this a huge question mark coming into the season?
You know, I don't know that it was. I don't know that the expectation was that the bullpen would be terrible. But look what they did this offseason. They traded away their closer, Raisel Iglesias, a very good relief pitcher. They got nothing for him. The guy they got for him didn't even make the team. They had Archie Bradley for the final month of the season last year. Guys had a lot of success. They non-tendered him, let him go to Philadelphia. They got nothing for him. So from the get-go, your bullpen was not going to be as good as it was last year because not only did you let those guys get away, you didn't replace them with anybody who's, established or close to their prime. Then you add to it, Amir Garrett really struggled early. He has since been a little bit better. Michael Lorenzen hasn't thrown a pitch this year. He's been injured. You add all those things up, and it's almost impossible to expect that group to be any good. And I think if we were to talk about the thing that has frustrated fans the most, it would be the ownership philosophy this offseason, which was basically, we're going to try to win while cutting payroll. Well, where do they cut payroll? They cut it in the bullpen, and they've tried to replace expensive guys with patchwork dudes who aren't quite as good. And, I think you add all that up, and it's really hard to expect this team's bullpen to be very good. And then you compound those issues with Trevor Bauer's not here anymore. Luis Castillo hasn't been very good. They're not getting the length that they were getting last year from their starters. So the bullpen is more important than it's ever been, and yet it's nowhere near as good as it was last year. That's a recipe for disaster.
The team 5th overall in OPS, and I look at their run scoring early on this season. You thought, holy mackerel, this team may set records the way they were hitting the ball. And then that slowed a bit, and they are second to last in team ERA. I mean that's your biggest tale. I mean, the Brewers, their offense stinks. I mean, they can't hit their way out of a wet paper bag. But the problem is they're putting it together with a lot of really good pitching. That's what's keeping them in this. So I don't know whether to look at it as glass is half full or the glass is half empty. I don't know what's easier, to get good pitching or to find some hitters out there. So when you start to look forward as this season winds on, and I don't know that I expected Cincinnati to fight for the top spot in the National League Central, but I thought they'd probably be above the Cubs and be battling the Brewers for second. But what does this team need to do? I would assume it's going to be bullpen pitching, bullpen arms that they're going to be looking for if the trade deadline proves big for them.
Yes, but that's still 2 months away. You have to be competitive between now and then, competitive enough to justify going for it. Every team in baseball wants bullpen help. And are they going to be willing to part with major assets to get the bullpen help they need? I think you and I may have talked about this before the season. The MO for this team was, all right, they were awful offensively last year. Chances are they're going to be better. You just expect certain players to perform better than they did last season, and top to bottom, the offense has been better. They still have some holes. Joey Votto's not healthy. Eugenio Suarez hasn't had a very good year, but they scored more runs. The question was always, all right, how much do they offset having a better offense by the starting pitching and the relief pitching not being as good? Remember, last year they had Trevor Bauer. No Trevor Bauer this season. The strength of the team was still supposed to be, I thought at least, the front three starters of Luis Castillo and Sonny Gray, who are former All-Stars, and Tyler Mahle, who had a really good year last year. Mahle was rocked yesterday, but for the most part has been pretty good. Sonny Gray didn't start the season healthy. He's been up and down. Luis Castillo was better the other night, but for the most part has been awful. So they've completely negated the fact that they are scoring more runs and that they are a better offensive team. They've negated that by having a pitching staff that just doesn't have some of the guys it had last year, and the guys you were counting on this season haven't been very good at all. You compound all of that, a team that already has a small margin for error, they're the worst. This might be the worst defensive infield I've ever seen. And right now, without Joey Votto and Mike Moustakas, you have guys playing out of position. They're trying pretty much anybody at first base right now. They haven't done the little things well. Not a good base running team. They haven't been very good at creating runs that don't involve home runs. It's just there's nothing that they do exceptionally well. Last year, their starting pitching was, for the most part, exceptional. We knew that wasn't going to be the case this year, and that has kind of offset the fact that they are a little bit of a better team offensively, primarily because Nick Castellanos and Jesse Winker are having great years.
So as the Brewers come to town and you start to look up and down the National League Central, nobody's run away with this. I mean, I guess the best part you can possibly talk about is the fact that everybody seems to have flaws and everybody seems to have issues right now. So it's still there kind of for the taking, right?
It's still there for the taking. But from a Cincinnati Reds standpoint, you know, for years we've watched the Reds get off to poor starts, right? 2 years ago, they started 1-8. Heck, last year they started 5-8, and then that turned into, you know, maybe something like 8-14, and they were always playing catch up. They were always swimming upstream. Go back 3 years ago, they started 2-13. The talk this offseason was, okay, avoid the bad start. What did they do? They won 6 out of their first 7. Since then, they've been 9 under 500. They've given all that away. It's hard to start 6-1 and then go into the second to last weekend of May, still 4 games under 500. They've given all of that back. So I think there was a hope in that first week that maybe the Reds can play from ahead. Maybe they can, you know, set a pace in the National League Central. And instead, they're playing catch up. And it's just hard for me to believe that as okay as everybody is in this division, I thought Milwaukee was the best in because of their offensive issues. I just don't know if I feel that way anymore. The Cubs have had all sorts of offensive issues, but it hasn't totally torpedoed their season. I believe the Cardinals, top to bottom, have probably the best constructed team. There's not that many guys in that lineup that scare you. I just don't think the Reds are going to be good enough to leapfrog 3 teams. I just don't think they're going to be good enough, top to bottom, to be able to get to, you know, whatever the number is, 87, 88, 89 wins. And unfortunately, again, the great start that they got off to, which included a bunch of wins over the Cardinals, the great start that they got off to, they've totally given it back. They've got guys on the injured list. And I don't think that bullpen issue is going to be rectified time soon. The trade deadline is still, as we mentioned before, more than 2 months away.
I know that he is hitting subpar for Joey Votto, but over the last, week, I guess is the best way to put it, he's finally starting to look more like Joey Votto. Do you think he's starting to heat up, or is this a hold your breath?
Well, with Joey, he got hit on the hand, so he's on the injured list right now. And, it was funny because in the first maybe 2 weeks of the season, Joey's numbers were terrible, but he was hitting the ball so hard. And so the question was, does that keep up? Does he keep hitting the ball as hard as he has? And then if so, what are the numbers going to look like? Because clearly at some point, if you hit the ball hard, you're going to find hits, you're going to get extra. And he wasn't able to keep doing that. The numbers have been okay. But, the reality is he's 37 years old. His last really good year was 4 years ago. As they say, father time is undefeated. And, now you're dealing with a hand injury. So they've kind of been making it up as they go along at first base because Mike Moustakas has been put on injured list. So they tried Tyler Stevenson at first base the other night. He had never played the position before. They really didn't adequately prepare for a prolonged Joey Votto absence, which when you got a guy who's 37 years old, that should be something you prepare for, and the Reds didn't.
By the way, we're talking with Mo Egger, our good buddy down there at ESPN Radio in Cincinnati, breaking down the Cincinnati Reds and the Brewers series coming up. So when you look at this Brewers team and the fact that Yelich is coming back from a back injury, even though his average is at 300, his power numbers are down, and this team just offensively is completely awful. Do you look at this as the opportunity for this Reds pitching staff to finally get healthy?
Yeah, I don't think there's any other way to look at it. I mean, there's nobody on that Milwaukee club hitting. There's nobody on that Milwaukee club that's hitting with runners in scoring position. I followed that recent St. Louis series they had, and it felt like, every time you looked up, they had a guy on second base with less than 2 outs, and they couldn't figure out a way to get him in. You're going to see Luis Castillo this week. You're going to see Sonny Gray tomorrow. You're going to see Jeff Hoffman tonight, who's not very good. From Luis Castillo's standpoint, he's going to pitch the game on Sunday. His last outing, he was better, struck out 11 guys in 5 innings. Unfortunately, he gave up a 3-run homer, and that doomed his night and doomed the Reds. He's got to be better. And Sonny Gray has been okay, not consistent, certainly hasn't pitched the way he has for most of his run in Cincinnati, but you get a chance. They have lost the overwhelming majority of games that Sonny and Luis have pitched. And those two guys have been the main culprits. So maybe it's a chance for those two guys to get back on track against a Milwaukee team that is not hitting. But frankly, with the arms the Reds are rolling out there in this bullpen right now, I think pretty much any team that brings their bats to the ballpark is dangerous, because there's not that many reliable relief pitchers right now on this club.
I know weather there a lot like here. You got upper 70s, low 80s, a little bit of humidity down there. The ball should start flying, so you look for the offense to start to progress down there in Cincinnati, don't you?
Well, you're always expecting, and maybe you're not expecting 19 runs like the Giants scored yesterday, but yeah, it's a hitter's park. It's getting warm. It's going to be warm this week. And so, yeah, I think the weather is conducive. The ballpark is always conducive to a lot of runs being scored. And the Reds bullpen is conducive to a lot of runs being scored. So to a large degree, if I'm a Milwaukee fan, I'm looking at this weekend as a chance for maybe some of these guys to get going in an environment that is, I think, conducive to pretty good offensive numbers.
Mo, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, and you make me drool all the time with all of your Skyline posts, man. I just wanted you to know that.
Well, I'm happy to do that, and I know you love Skyline. Really quick, I got to ask you about something. Yeah. Because I asked you to weigh in on something on Twitter. Because one of my best friends is from Milwaukee, a guy by the name of Barry Katz. You've met him.
Yep.
He and I are going to the game tonight, and we had this debate about who the coolest player in baseball history is. As a Cincinnati guy, I think it's Eric Davis. As a Milwaukee guy, he thinks it's Prince Fielder. As somebody who's from our area but has been in Milwaukee and been in Wisconsin as a legend out there, I asked you to weigh in, and you told me it was Prince Fielder, and I just need you to know how disappointing that was.
Eric Davis, I knew a little when I was covering the Reds way back when, and that was when Marge was running things, and I had a chance to really get to know Marge and hang out with her a little bit, and Eric was cool, but Eric kind of put you him and Prince were similar in they kept you at arm's length. They were cool, but you didn't get on the inner sanctum. You know what I mean? They had to really trust you. Eric was just he was for shizzle cool. You know what I mean? Prince was like laid back. It's chill cool. There's two different cools there. Now, just because I knew Prince maybe more recently, that was the reason I went in that direction. I didn't know Eric as well, and I knew Prince. But Prince, even when he was with his family, and I would see him out here by my house, he lived out near me for a while, and I'd see him at an ice cream place up the street, and he'd have his kids, and people would walk by and go, Prince, he'd go, sup, and just keep on licking his cone, sup, and I thought, man, that cat's got it going on, man. That's the reason I went in that direction. But no, Eric Davis, you know what, he was one of the first guys wearing the earring. He was one of the first guys wearing a big gold chain. He had swagger and shimmy to him. He would do some cool things over at La Boom and over at the waterfront when that was around. So no, I can see the argument. I just went with a guy that was probably most recently in my history.
I was disappointed. I understand your explanation, but I'm still on Team ED.
Okay. You know what? I can't argue with that. It's one of the. You know what's best about it is we could have a three-way of Skyline, a couple of cheese conies, and about 10 beers, and argue that all night long, and the argument would get even better as the beers went down.
You got that right.
Damn straight. There you go. All right, my friend, I'll talk to you soon, okay?
You got it, Bill. Thanks.
Thanks, buddy. Talk to you later. There you go. Mo Egger from ESPN Radio in Cincinnati joining us for a couple of minutes on the hotline. Great to have him on the program. Brewers and Reds coming up a little bit later on tonight. And the Brewers are trying to create some offense. Adrian Hauser going to the Hill, trying to shut down the Cincinnati Reds. Jeff Hoffman on the Hill tonight. Reds time will be 10 from the Queen City. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to talk baseball as a whole when we come back. Longtime friend, Major League Baseball analyst Seth Everett is going to be joining us. Stay tuned for that. Coming up next on The Bill Michaels Show.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is The Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back to the program, The Bill Michaels Show. We are broadcasting live today. We're outside, hanging at the Tiki bar today and just enjoying the weather. 70 degrees right now, a little bit of a breeze, absolutely picture perfect. And we talked a little baseball with Mo Egger, some Cincinnati Reds baseball out of the Queen City just moments ago. Now we turn our sights to our good buddy, talks more broad when it comes to Major League Baseball, our good friend and also the host of Sports with Friends podcast, Seth Everett. Seth, how you been, pal?
Hey, the man, the myth, the legend, Bill Michaels. And by the way, Jersey's own Bon Jovi on your intro. Very nice.
There we go. Yes. How you been?
I've been good. I've been enjoying the warmer weather. Vaccinations are good. I'm fully vaxxed. My daughter just got her first Pfizer shot. That was really cool. So we're looking to get back into the world. We have our first dinner plans with another couple tonight.
Wow.
This is the first time we are going. It'll be the second restaurant, first time with people other than my family.
Well, there you go. At least life as we used to know it is starting to return to the Seth
Yeah, we're
Everett
getting
family.
there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, we're getting there.
So
what's going on out there?
Well,
you guys frustrated? Are you enjoying all the strikeouts?
Oh my God, that's why. You know what?
And the Brewers are worse. They're the worst.
Yeah. Every time I see this, and I was talking about Andy Haynes, the hitting coach, and I said, you know what? If they can't get hits in Cincinnati against one of the worst bullpens and worst pitching staffs in all of baseball, then Andy Haynes, the hitting coach, should have to push the plane back to Milwaukee and not be on it. It's that bad. You tell me.
Well, but let me
sure,
before you go there, hitting coaches to me are overrated and underrated.
Yes.
They never get any of the credit when the team does well, and they get all the blame for whatever reason. Andy Haynes is doing what the organization is teaching, which is launch angle over contact. Every team is guilty. It's not just a Brewers thing, but it's ugly. And that's the problem. So you can't fire Andy Haynes for doing what the organization wants him to do.
That was what I was going to ask you was where does this lie? Because there are teams that teach it and players that execute it, and then there are teams that teach it and players can't execute it. So in what direction you go? I've said all along, look, the next manager that comes along and forces his guys to play bunts and hitting in the opposite direction and hitting against the shift and doing things fundamentally and playing station to station rather than trying to go for the grip it and rip it is going to be manager of the year, because that team will be more dynamic than any other team in baseball, because nobody's doing that consistently right now.
But look at the 6 no-hitters that we've seen so far. And I'm not going to belittle the movement of a no-hitter. A no-hitter to me is a special thing. There's no secret. It is a feat. You know what the bigger feat is? That the pitcher manages to throw 9 innings, not give up a hit.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we compare no-hitters, what I have noticed, and I've watched 3 of them. I watched the Means one, the John Means for the Orioles. That was the one I saw the most of. But what I noticed from Texas and Seattle, they're not trying. Like, they're not going to, like, and I'm not talking about in the 9th inning. I'm talking about in the 6th inning. In the 6th inning, you're seeing this pitcher for the 2nd time, or maybe the 3rd time if there was a walk or something. If you come up to the plate and your team is being no-hit, why isn't the dugout going, whatever we do not get a hit, get on base just one time, and abandon this mundane, boring mentality for just a try? And what I've noticed, and this is what is so exacerbated this season, is I think the ball is heavier. I think home runs are decreasing, and no one's changing their strategy.
There you go.
And that's why you have a record. The record for no-hitters is 7. You have 6. It's not even Memorial Day.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying yesterday, is that we are looking at guys that if a ball escapes the yard by 3 to 7 feet, and you take 12 to 15 off of that ball, now they're just long outs. And you have to adjust. And players are not adjusting. They're still swinging the same way. And to me, that's where, if you don't have legitimate, consistent home run power, that's where as a hitting coach, you got to say, look, launch angles be damned. You got to hit line drives. You got to get on base. You got to do more and be more dynamic than just grip it and rip it and worry about your damn launch angle. I agree with you 100% that there is not an adjustment from teams right now to what we are witnessing, and that's the worst thing about baseball. And it's an unintended consequence, the no hitters, but the boringness of baseball is the unintended consequence, because nobody has adjusted to make the game more exciting, to play more station-to-station baseball, because everybody's still in the same mentality of we can hit home runs and score runs, and that's where it's at statistically.
And you brought up, the boring factor, and let me go there. But baseball still thinks this is something. Yesterday, I got an alert on my phone that Albert Pujols had hit his first home run as a Dodger. Now, I love Albert Pujols. This is not an Albert Pujols indignation. Do you think I'm turning off playoff hockey to see Albert Pujols round the bases?
No.
That's not even. And the other night when Kluber had his no-hitter, and I had a baseball report to do for Fox Sports Radio that night, I still didn't turn the page in the 8th inning when he had no-hitter. And that's fascinating. Ratings in total are down because right now the latest numbers are 65% of U.S. households still have cable. That means 35% have cut the cord. And when you cut the cord, your ratings are not measured the same way. Some people see it through Hulu Live. Some people see it through YouTube TV or Fubo or whatever these apps are. And what's happened is it's not a fair metric to look at how many people are watching these things. So NBA ratings are down. Hockey ratings are at an all-time low, which is ironic because they're leaving NBC. What chance does baseball have?
Right.
And my whole point is, and this is not just to rip it. That's not the point of what I'm saying is that there are clear, simple things that need to be changed. When I go, and I ran errands this morning, Bill, and I'll full disclosure, I hadn't checked Twitter in 2 hours. So I said, you know what? Maybe something happened, a trade or an injury or something. Why don't I run to MLB.com before Bill Michaels calls me? What's the first thing I see is Pujols' home run?
Right.
Again, did some shortstop make a great play last night? Did some third baseman make a long throw? Did some outfielder throw out a runner? Because you're not selling that as part of the sport. And if all you care about is home runs, why would the teams try to change?
I look at the game itself right now in a crisis in the sense that you had mentioned about people cutting the cord. Also, you've got sports franchises that are wrapping their arms around broadcast because you can't buy the MLB package and then have your team be a part of it. So like when I travel and I'm out of market, a lot of now this Valley Sports, they've wrapped their arms around certain markets and they don't want to give it to the Hulus, and they don't want to give it to these other because they're not paying for the actual production of the broadcast, and they're running their own commercials. So therefore, they've cut all this, and fans are like pissed. They're like, we can't even get the game we want because we cut the cord.
So if you go to Barrett Sports Media, our buddy Jason Barrett runs that Barrett Sports Media. I wrote a couple of columns exactly this, and I just talked yesterday to Mike McCarthy, not the Packers coach,
right.
Because when I found out I had an interview with him, I thought it was the Packers coach. Well, the former. Mike McCarthy runs Marquee Sports Network in Chicago, and they have a deal with Fubo. Marquee has a deal with Fubo, but he acknowledged, and so did Gary Bettman on my Sports with Friends podcast. And I'm not just trying to shill out podcasts here. Episode 299 is the NHL commissioner, and Gary Bettman said they know if you live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, it is easier to be a Baltimore Oriole fan than it is to be a Milwaukee Brewers fan.
Right.
That's not right. And streaming apps saying that they should be free. The team that I picked on the most is the Seattle Kraken, because the Kraken are starting in this cord-cutting age of 2021, and they had a chance to open up a completely over-the-top, direct-to-consumer app. And I'm not saying make it cheap. I'm saying $30 a month. But make it available. Give the choice. And I use my daughter as the example. My daughter, we're Devils fans, right? We live in New Jersey. I'm a New Jersey Devils fan. Do you know the amount of hoops that we have to jump to see the New Jersey Devils in our area as cord cutters? And with my kid, so she's 12, she gets to turn 18. And she goes to college remotely in this area. I don't know where she's going, but remotely in this area. Do you think she's going to jump through any of the hoops to see the Devils? That's a fan of a team that doesn't have a massive fan base. That's a fan that watches 30 games a year. You're losing her. And you can take that analogy and apply it to baseball, hockey, and basketball. This is not an NFL issue because NFL is all national contracts. So that's a separate deal. And DirecTV's Red Zone package is going to go to a streaming service. The NFL Sunday Ticket is going to a streaming service, and that's why somebody asked me, why didn't I write a column about the new NFL rights deal? I said, because until I find out where Sunday Ticket goes, I'm not interested.
The game itself, they were trying, and I get what they were trying to do. They deadened the ball, made the ball a little heavier, whatever it happens to be, and they were hoping that there'd be more outs. Guys would then, there'd be more baseball. The outs would come quicker, games would be shorter. The unintended consequence of this has been boring baseball, long fly balls, no hitters. There's nothing at this point that I've seen, at least through Major League Baseball, that's being addressed. Rob Manfred seems to me at times like he's asleep at the wheel or cowering somewhere in a cave going, I hope it gets better. What does baseball itself need? We talk about the baseball being a pastime, the national pastime, and all that kind of stuff, but I feel that baseball itself as a viewing sport is in crisis. So what does baseball in your opinion need to do?
There's two. The first crisis is December 1st, where the CBA is up.
Correct.
Not to reference the podcast again, but I credit the NHL during the pandemic, when everything was in lockdown, they extended their CBA by 4 years. Just want to state that for the record. That's how you do sports. And what baseball has in front of them is a philosophical difference. Because what the players want is they want the old ways. They want the old ways where you pay starting pitchers $300 million and get Garrett Cole type contracts. And what the owners are saying is we're leaning towards openers. And we're changing that. And they can't agree on anything. This is not a negotiation like when Don Fehr and Bud Selig just said salary cap, no. That was the negotiation. Like that was all that was, in 1994. This is very, very different. So that's part one. Part two, and that's a longer-term crisis, I'm in my mid-40s. When I'm 75 years old, the people who are 15 now will not be caring the way the 40-year-olds care now. There's still a generation. You take calls. You interact on social media perfectly. And when you reach out and people ask you baseball questions, check their profiles, find out how old they are.
Right.
They're always 35 plus. And when the young people are interested, I did a show yesterday with a 29-year-old kid, and all he wanted to talk about was Giannis. Because Giannis is intriguing. He's unique. Is Colton Wong that unique? Is he that interesting? Is Christian Yelich even that interesting? And that's not to say he's a bad guy. He's not a bad guy. But there's nothing about these guys. What's happened now in the digital age is you don't have to live in Milwaukee to like Giannis. You can live in Detroit. You can live in New York. You can live anywhere and love Giannis because you are making that choice. And with the technology that is in the palm of your hand, you can see games of anybody you want. But the weirdest part about it is the way these cable deals are set up. If you want to root for your home team, that's the hardest thing to do.
Yeah, I completely agree. And that was one of the largest areas of consternation coming into the season this year. I could go on and on, my friend. Good luck at dinner tonight. How are things in New York as far as opening back up?
Oh, it's fully open, but we're also doing very, very well with the vaccine. If anyone listening, Bill, you have a great audience. Get vaccinated, please, because that's the best way we can all return to normal.
Good stuff, my friend, and we will talk again soon. You hang in there, and I enjoy watching the Friends with Sports with Friends podcast. Always good, okay?
Yeah, we celebrated episode 300. It's a documentary on the first 300 episodes. It's really cool.
I'm gonna have to watch that. I haven't seen that yet. I'll go check that out. Good stuff. Appreciate it, buddy.
You got it, my man.
Stay safe. Talk to you soon. There you go. Seth Everett, Sports with Friends podcast, and it is good. Seth gets some names, man. He gets some names on his podcast. He has for a long, long time. And it's really good. It's really good. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Digest everything we just discussed. And when we come back, we'll kind of open up the phone lines. 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, please feel free to go ahead and do so. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Quick Trip, the best fuel and convenience store sponsor of the Bill and the only of the Bill Michaels Sports Talk Network. More of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up next. Ready?
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
How we looking? Bill Michaels here for the Four Seasons Island Resort in Pembine, Wisconsin. And I've got to tell you, when I want to get away for a long weekend, I head to the Four Seasons Island Resort. It's Northeast Wisconsin's best-kept secret, and the amenities include a 9-hole golf course, indoor saltwater swimming pool, sauna, whirlpool, tennis courts, basketball, horseshoe pits, volleyball, and when you're hungry, choose from the Boundary Water Sports Bar and Grill, Lily's Ice Cream Parlor, or fine dining in the Diamond Room. How about all of that? All Marinette County ATV and UTV trails are wide open this year. Guided waterfall tours as well. It's tucked into the North Woods of Wisconsin. The Four Seasons Island Resort is located on the Muscano Island and surrounded by the beautiful Menominee River, which divides Wisconsin and the UP of Michigan. An island you can actually drive to. How about that? It's simply gorgeous there. Whether it's a romantic weekend for two, a golf weekend with the boys, or an adventure weekend for the entire family, Four Seasons Island Resort is a place to go. Book your getaway today at thefourseasonswi.com. That's thefourseasons, FOURWI.com, and make sure you tell them Bill Michaels sent you.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back to the program and the Bill Michaels Show. We are broadcasting today outside and enjoying ourselves here at the Tiki Bar. And for those that are watching on the Bud Light live stream, you got the fire pit scene and obviously the Tiki Bar signs and such. That was actually, I got an email from Maxie. Maxie said, where did you get the Bill Michaels Show sign? That was when we do our show live at State Fair for years and years and years, and it's up on the Bud Light live stream right now. There's a guy that did woodwork. He took like pieces of driftwood and then put the signs, the arrow signs, so as you see there, it says Backyard Paradise and Fire Pit, the Bill Michaels Show, and all that kind of stuff. He made those, and for like 3 or 4 years in a row, he had come down and made one for the show every year. Really nice guy, him and his daughter, really good people. And obviously no State Fair last year. And the year before that, they weren't there. So anyway, long story short, like the one here that I'm pointing out on the Bud Light live stream, this Tiki Bar sign there, he made that as well. There's another, the one over here off to my left and your right, if you're looking at us, he made that one. And then there's another one that's not out here right now, but he made that too. So for like 4 years in a row, he would come down, he'd bring this stuff. And then a couple of years ago, he wasn't there. And then obviously with COVID last year, he wasn't there. So maybe I'll see him back, but at the State Fair. But no, he's really a generous guy that listened to the program every day and started making these things for me and knew that I had a kind of a backyard type of, set that he wanted to kind of juice up a little bit, I guess. But, appreciate it. That's where I got him. So there's not a particular store that I could tell you to go get him. He was a craft guy that just bought a space at the Wisconsin State Fair. So wish I had more news for you to say, hey, go out and get them in this particular area, but that's the way it was. 877-867-1670. Hey, want to remind you, IndyCar coming to Road America. We want you there. This setup is going to be at Road America. Everything you see right here, all the equipment, cameras and such, are all going to be at Road America. We're going to have a fantastic time. We're going to be there for the NTT IndyCar Series Rev Group Grand Prix, presented by AMR. Takes to the legendary Road America track June 17th through the 20th. And again, I'm going to be there. But the best part about it is I want you to come with us. I want to bring you. This is going to be our first big gathering, okay? Because remember, when we started setting this network up, couldn't go anywhere. The one place we could go was Road America. So what we want to do is invite you to go to thebillmichaels.com, the Bill Michaels, Michaels, thebillmichaels.com, and get registered to win. We are going to set you up with race tickets, campsite, and a tailgate party. We're going to pay for the food. We're going to pay for the beverages. We're going to bring some snacks. We are going to have all kinds of stuff from our friends at Quick Trip. We're going to have all kinds of ribs on a stick from our friends at Robert's Specialty Meats. And we're going to invite you into the brand new big unit cruiser, which I believe we pick it up next week, is fantastic. And it's from our friends at Kunis RV, KUNESRV.com, KUNISRV.com. So we're going to set you up for you and 5 of your friends. So we're going to invite you to come on, down some brats, down some burgers, all that kind of good stuff, beverages, watch the race, enjoy your awesome IndyCar Series Grand Prix, June 17th through the 20th at Road America in beautiful Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Get complete details and your champion simply by going to thebillmichaels.com. And we're going to get you tickets, camping, tailgating, all that kind of good stuff with our friends from Road Track and Trail, who are also going to be providing us with the means to get around the beautiful area that is Road America. Road Track and Trail, everything from sleds to snowmobiles to UTVs, ATVs, whatever it happens to be. They've got all of that. The world's leader in all of that. But we're gonna have a hell of a time up at Road America for the IndyCar Series. So, and by the way, I think the registration for that shuts down in a couple of weeks. So if you haven't registered, get registered. If you want to get like a guarantee, get your 5 friends together. All your 5 friends register. That kind of makes your chances go up as far as winning this thing. So somebody's got to win it, right? So we're going to take 60 people with us. 60 people, one from every one of our affiliates, whether it's Platteville or Marshfield or Rice Lake or Wausau, whatever it happens to be. We're going to take one winner from each market, and we're going to take you with us to Road America. And if you don't have an RV, if you don't have a pop-up, if you don't have a camper of any type, go to Kunes, KUNESRV.com. You can rent them there, KUNESRV.com, and you can rent them right there. Let's do this. We'll step away because we're running a little bit late. We're going to come back, talk a little baseball, and then we'll get back into the Packers stuff after the top of the hour. We'll get back into some of that and some of that discussion. Stay tuned. Broadcasting live out here in the beautiful weather. Although I just looked at the radar, I'm a little panicked because we got about 2 hours and 10 minutes left to go in the program, and there's rain coming. There's a swath of rain that's cutting through the middle of the state that's just out around Madison right now with spotty showers. Everything's out. There's no changing it. So thank God we're covered. But I don't know how much coverage. Hopefully the wind isn't blowing if it does start raining here. So hang in there. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
first contact. Every team is guilty. It's not just a Brewers thing, but it's ugly, and that's the problem.
There you go. That is Seth Everett joining us a little bit earlier. And agree or disagree? Now, good stuff from him, by the way. Great to have him bring such information when it comes to Major League Baseball. He does not feel that it's Andy Haynes. Now, I will say this. He's right. Seth is right when you talk about coming correct in the sense of hitting coaches. The general manager has a certain way of putting things together. And hitting coaches are the arm of that general manager and the manager, the sabermetrics, the analytics, whatever it is, the direction. Okay? So he is doing what David Stearns wants him to do, right? So he's not totally responsible. But I'll say this. When it comes to hitting coaches, you look at a guy like Andy Haynes. This team went the ball 2 years ago. Then they make the change. Last year they did not. Their contact rate is such a thing. Strikeouts were up. This year, strikeouts are up. Team average stinks. The strikeouts are, like I mentioned, are high. At some point, as a hitting coach, you have to discuss with your general manager and everybody. You got to say, look, this isn't working. So I can continue to do what you want me to do, but you're going to fire me regardless. Somebody has to go. You're not going to fire the team. So it's going to be me. So if I'm Andy Haynes and I'm getting my marching orders from David Stearns, and he's saying stick with launch angle, stick with the exit velocity, stick with. Well, you're not getting contact. You're getting strikeouts. Guys aren't seeing it, and guys don't have that capability. If you're going to go out swinging. Last year didn't work. The beginning of this year isn't working. To me, this is it. You're going to Cincinnati where it's a bandbox. You're going to Cincinnati where their pitching staff stinks. If you don't hit the ball here and score runs here, I'm at a loss. You're not going to score runs. So he is 100% correct in saying hitting coaches get too much of the cream and not enough of the credit. 100% correct. But in this particular case, you, at some point, change for the sake of change. A different voice, a different methodology, a different routine. If you're a hitting coach and you all of a sudden say, okay, this isn't working, we're going to do this. Well, then people look at you and go, wow, now you're throwing darts at the dartboard. You don't have a philosophy that's worked, so now you're trying anything. What belief do I have in you? Right? Think about it as any other manager out there. If you drive a garbage truck and they say, okay, you're on the job from 7 a.m. and you've got to be done by 5. And they've got you set up. And they're like, this is the best. This is the way to do it. This is how we're going to show you how to do it. We can do this. And you keep getting done at 6. And you're like, I can't. We're not figuring this out. And then all of a sudden he goes, well, let's try this. Well, let's go here. Oh, okay, you're still at 7 o'clock. Let's try it. Then you look at your manager and go, I don't know what the hell you're doing. Why am I listening to you? That's why this series to me is big in the sense of if Andy Haynes cannot figure it out. If Andy Haynes cannot figure it out, then if he can't figure this out, then you have to move on. If you go into Cincinnati with a really bad pitching staff and you can't hit the ball there, I don't know what to tell you. Seth Everett on before, he's spot on in the sense that the hitting coaches are the arms and extensions and philosophies of general managers. But if it's not working and suddenly he starts changing things up, then you don't have a lot of belief in that guy to begin with. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Find us. By the way, talking about finding us, a week from tomorrow, big date. a week from tomorrow. We're going to be out at Wisconsin Harley-Davidson. It is the Honor Ride weekend and Memorial Day weekend. Remember what Memorial Day is all about. We'll talk more about this next week, obviously, but the Honor Ride is coming up. If you would like to participate in that, just go to wishd.com. That's wishd.com. They're going to have a classic car show. There's something for everybody, whether it's the kids, the family, the motorcycle enthusiast, the car enthusiast, whatever it happens to be. There's something for everybody out there. Obviously, they have new and used bikes and a lot of motor clothes and a tremendous, tremendous store itself, which is just south of 94 on Highway 67. But the Honor Ride is coming up a week from tomorrow. So hope to see you out there. I'm going to be there. I'm going to ride in this. Also going to be one of the celebrity judges for the Classic Car Show. That's going to be taking place out there. Go to wishd.com. That's wishd.com. And if you're looking for a bike, go see my buddy Craig. Craig's the general manager out there. Just walk in and say, I want to see Craig. Tell them we sent you. It's between Milwaukee and Madison, so either market, no matter where you're coming from. I mean, if you find the bike of your dreams and it's there, then go there. But get a hold of Craig. Tell him we sent you. But good stuff coming up for the Honor Ride at wishd.com. That is wishd.com. We're halfway through. 2 hours down, 2 to go. Stay tuned. A lot more of the Bill Michaels Show, and it's coming up right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Bucs are just about 24 hours out from the start of their playoff series against Miami. Milwaukee comes in as the number 3 seed, but many are picking the 6-seeded Heat to upset the Bucs. That's in large part due to their 5-game victory in last year's playoffs. That would seem to put a lot of pressure on two-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo, not to just get by Miami, but also to make it to the NBA Finals for the first time. He said he's fine with that.
I believe that pressure is earned. If I wasn't who I am today and I didn't work as hard as I work and I didn't focus in the game and didn't love the game and didn't compete the way I am, we wouldn't be talking about pressure. Pressure is earned, and I love it. I'm out there. I want to compete, and I want more pressure because the better I get, the more pressure I have.
Bucs beat the Heat in 2 of their 3 matchups in the regular season, but Giannis knows it's going to take a lot more effort to take the series from them.
As a team, you got to play 48 minutes. You cannot play 38. You cannot play 42, not 44. You got to play 48 minutes in order for you to beat them. You got to bring your A game as effort.
Game 1 tomorrow afternoon at Fiserv Forum. Tip is at 1. The Brewers are in Cincinnati. It's where they'll open a series against the Reds tonight. Milwaukee's lost 5 of their last 6 games and 11 of their last 15.
Want to save even more at Fleet Farm? Well, now you can with Fleet Rewards. It's free to sign up, and there's no credit card required. Using Fleet Rewards is easy. Earn points every time you shop. Get exclusive member offers, birthday perks, free tire rotations, and more. Download the Fleet Farm app or create an account at fleetfarm.com/rewards to start earning points today. Fleet Farm, proudly serving the Midwest since 1955.
Well, the Packers will get the 3rd phase of their offseason program going Monday when they hold their first OTA. Aaron Rodgers not expected to be there, but the quarterback and the team are still reportedly in communication as they try to work to get him to return to the team. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heilprin.
Welcome back. Glad to have you. The Bill Michaels Show. We continue on. Check us out over on YouTube and on Twitch. You can subscribe for free. And we are glad to have you. You can follow us and like us over on the Facebook fan page as well under The Bill Michaels Show. That's The Bill Michaels Show. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Was on a while ago from ESPN Radio in Cincinnati, and he talked about the Brewers just not hitting. Take a listen.
There's nobody on that Milwaukee club hitting. There's nobody on that Milwaukee club that's hitting with runners in scoring position. I followed that recent St. Louis series they had, and it felt like, every time you looked up, they had a guy on second base with less than 2 outs, and they couldn't figure out a way to get him in.
that is the perspective from Cincinnati as the Brewers get ready to take on the Reds. Brewers, we're talking about hitting. We're talking about hitting coaches. We're talking about Andy Haynes, Seth Everett. A little while ago on the program, former MLB analyst, now with the Sports with Friends podcast, talked about how hitting coaches take too much grief and not enough credit, which is true. It's kind of like quarterbacks. You know, quarterbacks get all the credit for a win. They get all the grief for a loss, probably too much on both ends. Unless, of course, you go out there and throw, 6 or 7 interceptions. But that being said, how much of this, let me kind of take this discussion regarding baseball in a different direction, regarding the Brewers specifically. How much of this do you blame on the players? How much of this do you blame on just David Stearns putting together a team that just doesn't match up very well when it comes to hitting? How much of this do you put on the hitting coach? And is there a specific solution that you would have if this team, and I'd said that to me, this is the watershed. Here is your pivot. This weekend going into Cincinnati, it is warm. It is humid. The ball should fly. That is a bandbox. That is Great American Ballpark. We've got 3 ballparks specifically in the National League Central. Some of the best baseball home run hitting parks in the National League Central. Wrigley Field, Miller Park, and Great American Ballpark. You are facing a bad pitching staff in Cincinnati. A bad pitch, specifically their bullpen. Their bullpen is awful. You're facing a bad pitching staff. If you don't score runs, you don't boost your team's average. If you walk away with just more and more and more ineptitude and a mounting amount of strikeouts, what, in your thought, should happen? Where does that blame begin to really fall hard? 877-867-1670. Now, I'll take it to the opposite. I hope things begin to perk up. I hope Christian Yelich strokes his first homer of the season, maybe gets 2 or 3 in this series. I hope Colton Wong continues to hit. Narvaez continues to hit. I like to see Travis Shaw get a dinger or 2. I would love to see some of these guys, Lorenzo Cain, start to get more and more off the schneid. I'd love to see that start to come to fruition. And then at least when they return home, you start to go, okay, I can breathe a little bit. And then you see what happens at American Family Field. But if this team comes back, same old, you tell me where the blame lies. You tell me where you think changes need to be made. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Give us a shout. 877-867-1670. Mark says the blame needs to go towards Andy Haynes. You have to start there and work your way down. You got Andrew saying, I'm predicting the Brewers get no hit in this series. Oh, my God. They get no hit in this series. I can't imagine what the show is going to be like on Monday, I mean, if they get no hit tonight and then hit the hell out of the ball on Saturday and Sunday, I would be shocked only for the fact that, well, for one, you're facing a guy in Jeff Hoffman who's got almost a 5 ERA as opposed to like Sonny Gray and Luis Castillo. Now, Sonny Gray or Luis Castillo, I could see doing that. Hoffman, no. But if they get no hit tonight, and then they hit the hell out of the ball against Sonny Gray and Castillo, then you come home and you're like, okay, it's embarrassing. It's an apparition. Hopefully they can come home and pick up where they left off in the last 2 games of the series against Cincinnati. If they say score 1 run tonight against a Hoffman, get no hit against Sonny Gray, put up 1 or 2 runs against Castillo, it's mayhem, pandemonium. I don't care wins or losses. It's pandemonium. That's when, and this is from Jesse, who says, are you still going to boo ball players when they strike out at American Family Field? Hell yes. This is getting unacceptable. Where is the power? As a fan, how can you voice your opinion? You can call programs like this and hope that the Brewers are listening, or if you're down at the ballpark, look, hey, somebody hits a dinger, all you want. Clap all you want, go crazy, have a good one. Great play at shortstop, diving play in the hole, throws over to first and get him. Great play. You cheer. You be biased in rooting for your team, but you let your team know And you can maybe make it loud enough to where Major League Baseball begins to hear you to say, this is unacceptable. The strikeouts, the ineptitude at the plate, this is unacceptable. This is an unintended consequence of what they have regarding the deadened ball and the fact that sabermetrics, launch angles, and velocity and exit velocity have become so prevalent. It's a boring brand of baseball. We don't want to see this anymore. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. And let me say this. This is coming from somebody, and you got to know me. I love football and Packers football specifically when it comes to sports talk in the state of Wisconsin. That's your bread and butter, okay? That's it. But I am and have always been a passionate baseball enthusiast. I love the game. I loved playing the game when I was a kid. I loved being enthralled by walking through the ballpark and into the stands and sitting there and keeping score and just relaxing and enjoying the game, whether it was a no-hitter, a one-hitter, a four-hitter, 2-1, 10-1, 10-10, going into extras, whatever it happened to be. I loved the game of baseball. But the brand of baseball we are seeing right now is not a good brand. Seth Everett, a little earlier, talked about the no-hitters and such, and also about players just trying to get a hit.
They're not trying. They're not going to, and I'm not talking about in the ninth inning. I'm talking about in the sixth inning. In the sixth inning, you're seeing this pitcher for the second time, or maybe the third time if there was a walk or something. If you come up to the plate and your team is being no-hit, why isn't the dugout going, whatever we do not get a hit, get on base just one time, and abandon this mundane, boring mentality for just a try?
There you go. I agree. We don't have that. It's almost like it's acceptable. And that's where you and I come in. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Give us a shout, 877-867-1670. D-Losh says, trade Hader for an established bat or two. He's no good to us as a closer if we're playing from behind all the time. There's your shakeup. Then what do you do when you get ahead? Then what do you do when you get ahead and suddenly you have leads and you're getting to the back end of the bullpen? I don't think you weaken yourself at your strength to. It's not a bad idea because we know that Hader has been a guy that's been talked about regarding trades before. I think, though, if you really sincerely believe that you are going to be in the thick of things come the postseason, you need Josh Hader. So I don't think I'm trading Hader away. I understand what you're saying, and I understand where you're going, but I don't think I'm trading Hader away. I think I might go in a different direction. I might give one of my younger arms somebody. You're going to get somebody that's a good arm, younger arm that has a control arm, a controllable arm, which is what a lot of general managers are looking for. You might get more for them. Aaron says, I think if they need, I think they need to take 2 out of 3 from the Reds. They need this series to turn things around. If they don't, I don't know where you go from here. Who do you bring up to replace Haynes, who is out there and can right the ship? I don't think it's a matter of who you're going to, because guys are going to figure it out. I don't think it's a matter of who you bring up. I think it's a matter of just changing the voice. You got hitting coaches all throughout your minor league system. I'm not saying one is better than the other. In this particular, I'm never in favor of firing somebody just to fire somebody. But right now, in the here and the now of this marathon that is a baseball season, my thought is you need to change the voice. You just need to change the voice at some point. Because it's not working. So this weekend has a lot, in my opinion, a lot riding on it. Agree or disagree? This weekend has a lot riding on it because you come out of this weekend smelling like a rose and you sweep the Reds and maybe St. Louis takes a couple of losses and you're all of a sudden right in the thick of things and you hit the ball over the weekend and things, you're starting to feel a little bit better about yourself. That can change a lot. That can change a lot, especially coming back and playing a game again on Monday right away, getting back to American Family Field. That can change a lot. But you lose 2 out of 3 to the Reds. You lose another place in another game in the standings. your offense looks the same as it has pretty much all season long. Going up against that staff, that pitching staff, second to worst ERA in all of baseball. Second to worst whip in all of baseball as a staff. The worst bullpen in all of baseball. I don't know how you can walk away from this losing 2 out of 3 if indeed something like that should happen, scoring just a couple of runs. At some point, you need to make a change. Hey, speaking of changes, our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin right now, 6 years, no interest financing at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. And why is 6 years a big deal? That's because by the time you get done paying these things off, they have a limited lifetime warranty and an unlimited warranty on installation, which is fantastic. A 10-year installation warranty, which means by the time you get done paying them off, you still are under warranty. So you have now the opportunity to get rid of the old, the squeaky, the leaky, the sticky, the grinding, the nasty, the non-close, won't lock, fog up, all that kind of crap windows, the craptastic windows you have in your house right now, and they're not energy efficient, to replace them with windows that are, and windows that will add value for the best in quality, and they'll add the most value to your home. They've been rated that. I mean, Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin are just that good. So beat the summer heat, stay cozy in the wintertime. Plus, you can open them up and let the fresh air in when you need to and just stay right there on an even keel. It's fantastic. Go to Pella Windows and Doors and check it out for yourself. Go to PellaWI.com/radio, P-E-L-L-A. PellaWI.com/radio. That is Pella, PellaWI.com/radio. Or call them for a free consultation. You can set it up, whether it's in your home. You can go into the Experience Center. You can do it over the phone. Hell, you can still do it via Zoom if you want to. 855-PELLA-WI. That's 855-PELLA-WI. And check out the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. We'll talk more about this. And what do you do? Where does blame begin to fall? If things turn out positive in this series, maybe we leave with a whole different attitude, and on Monday we're clapping our hands and we're kind of excited about the team coming back home, so you get a chance to cheer on your Brewers. But if this team goes south against Cincinnati, what do you do? It's one series, but I think already in this early season, as we creep into the end of May, it's already a very pivotal series for this team, as they are foundering right now when it comes to hitting the baseball. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up, and it's coming up right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Crisp red apples with fresh strawberries. Cider Boy Strawberry Magic Hard Cider.
Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Bill Michaels Show. We continue on as we are broadcasting live outside. We're here at the Tiki Bar today and got a good breeze going. We do have, and for those of you west of, we'll say, Oconomowoc, that area in Waukesha, have a few scattered showers moving around. They got a few darker clouds in the area. We're just hoping it holds out until the program's over today. We are brought to you by our good friends at Bud Light and Bud Light Seltzer, the official beer sponsor of the Bill Michaels Sports Talk Network. And the other side of the coin, and I'm getting a lot of this from those of you listening to us in La Crosse and for the western portion of the state, La Crosse, Eau Claire. I got Mark here listening to us up in Wausau, James in Marshfield, is about the ability to view the Milwaukee Brewers and pay attention to their team and cheer for their team. And that was also discussed with Seth Everett. Take a listen.
Like, they're not going to, like, and I'm not talking about in the 9th inning. I'm talking about in the 6th inning. In the 6th inning, you're seeing this pitcher for the 2nd time, or maybe the 3rd time if there was a walk or something. If you come up to the plate and your team is being no-hit, why isn't the dugout going, whatever we do not get a hit, get on base just one time, and abandon mundane, boring mentality for just a try?
And for that portion of it, he's correct when you talk about the boring brand of baseball. The baseball itself, I love baseball. I still do. I mean, I know there's a lot of people bad-mouthing baseball, and we talked about it, and we've brought up all the negative sides of it. And I know Marty says it's hard to be a Brewers fan when they don't hit the baseball. I listen to it on the radio. I can't catch it here on television in western Wisconsin. He lives in Westby. He says, I cut the cord a while ago, and trying to stream it is becoming a real problem. Why are the Brewers doing this to us, their fans? They can't play good baseball, and now they're cutting us off. I still don't know. It's something that we've talked about, discussed ever since the season got underway when people were missing games. So, I completely understand that. Kinger says, I'm pretty sure that Andy Haynes is going to be taking the bus back to Milwaukee if the Brewers can't hit the ball this weekend. James writes, huge Brewers fan. But I don't have much belief in this team. I'm losing my faith in Craig Counsell. He needs to make a move, get rid of the hitting coach first. After that, he needs to have an argument with David Stearns about how this team needs to approach themselves at the plate. Kinger wants to know if the Milwaukee broadcasters are still not traveling with the team and broadcasting the game from AmFam Field. Yes, still not traveling with the team. Not allowed on the team flights, not allowed on the team buses. Not allowed. Now the reporters, I believe, are on the not on those flights, but I believe the reporters are in the cities. I believe, It just depends on the city and what their restrictions are. And I don't know town by town, stadium by stadium, what is and isn't allowed. So I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if Adam McCalvey is with the team consistently or if he's watching it like you and I from home and then doing the Zoom calls after the fact. That I don't know. But I do know that right now, as Brian Anderson put yesterday, that they're not allowed on the field. They're not allowed to be with the team. You don't get that real in-depth insight when you can't talk to somebody about, hey, what's the mood in the clubhouse? Hey, how are things here? What are you working on? And you get a little bit of insight and that trust between yourself and the players to be able to say, okay, let me garner my knowledge as to how I'm going to present the game or present my analysis by what it is you tell me without giving away state secrets. It's tough. It's tough to do the job right now. I personally cannot wait until, I assume 2022, everything's going to be open. It'll be back to normal. At least I hope. I know there's going to be some teams that are going to fight like hell for Zoom calls to remain, and that way they don't have to have, reporters and such in the locker rooms. But at some point, something's got to give. And it may not mean a lot to you as a fan, but the difference between you and I is not depth of knowledge. It is access. It is the ability to garner information and to do it as a job and to give you analytics as a fan of what maybe you're looking for, or maybe what knowledge you would like to know, or an opinion you would like to have based upon something that's written in fact or inside information or what have you. I mean, that's it. Are all the players and announcers vaccinated? If so, what's the deal? I don't know if everybody's vaccinated. I know that there's been some teams that have been critical. I just saw the Mets. I think I was reading that yesterday, the day before, that some of their players are, some of their players are not fully vaccinated. And, like in football, you got to be vaccinated. Unless there's a reason you can't be, you got to be vaccinated. Level one is what they call employees. Those are the employees. Those are the people with the teams that are in direct contact every day. Like Tony Migliaccio. He is the clubhouse attendant for the Brewers. He's vaccinated. He's with these guys every day. He's on those team flights. He's in there. He's the level one personnel. David Stearns, Craig Counsell, all those guys. But as far as like being a front office person, if you're not essential to actually be with the team, no, you're not. Same thing in Green Bay, same thing I'm sure with the Milwaukee Bucks. So I think I think there's still a cautiousness out there to all of this. And look, I for one have always been kind of the, let's get back to normal guy. And I've rah-rahed that, and I have, and I still will. But I know there have been consequences to this. I know there have been circumstances that have been costly to this, to people that have known people. Hell, I know somebody that passed away due to complications from COVID. I was just with a friend of mine on Tuesday night, on Wednesday night, that she has immune problems and is still fearful. And I was asking her, I said, so at what point do you feel comfortable? She goes, no, I'm done with the mask, but I just have to be vigilant in what I do. She's got a vaccination already. She had an allergic reaction to the first vaccination, but she's 80% vaccinated, not fully yet. And that's all she's going to have to get. And the rest of it is going to be, you fight it off and do your best. And you hope that it doesn't get you, just like anything else that's out there. So I don't know at what point we're going to end up, kind of getting back to normal. I don't know. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. I hope it's sooner rather than later. I'll tell you that. I really do. Before we get to the bottom of the hour and take a break, I do want to give you the update as Phil Mickelson is having a hell of a day. He is 3 under for the day, which puts him at 5 under for the tournament. Phil Mickelson is now your leader in the PGA Championship. Brandon Grace, Gary Woodland, Kevin Streelman, Christian Busenholt. You got a whole bunch of guys at 3 under. Keegan Bradley, Victor Hovland, Brooks Koepka, Aaron Wise, all at 3 under. 2 shots off the pace, and it kind of goes down there from there. Colin Morikawa is 2 under, and we'll tee off a little bit later on this afternoon. He is your defending champion. So, and by the way, Steve Stricker had a couple of big holes today, but still he is over par for the tournament and not the best of days out of Steve Stricker. He was 1 under for the day, but he's 3 over for the tournament. He's on 17, or just finished 17, walking up 18 right now. We'll keep you up to date there. But I don't know where. I think the projected cut is 3 over. So at this point, that's where the projected cut line is at 3 over par. So at this point, he would make the cut. Jordan Spieth at 3 over as well. Justin Rose at 3 over. John Rahm at 3 over. A lot of the names are struggling on the ocean course at Kauai Island Golf Resort in Kauai Island, South Carolina. But old lefty Phil Mickelson, he is your leader in the clubhouse right now. 3 under for the day on a rather breezy day, as a matter of fact. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Give us a shout. By the way, want to let you know our friends at Epoxy Flooring Done Right. They help us with our on-site broadcasts. They provide Wisconsin home and business owners epoxy floor coating services at reasonable prices and top quality workmanship, colors, finishes, even painting your room that you're going to have done. They can do all of that. They're located right here in Wisconsin, and from Green Bay to Milwaukee to Madison, Racine, Kenosha, everywhere in between. They can get it done. Go to Epoxy Flooring Done Right. EpoxyFlooringDoneRight.com. Again, EpoxyFlooringDoneRight.com, and see for yourself. Or just call Sean, 262-443-2852. That's 262-443-2852. When we come back, I want to change gears a little bit. Get back into the discussion regarding the Green Bay Packers, and a lot of people having some discussion regarding the ownership and the way it is structured in Green Bay, and wanting the ownership or the board something about the Aaron Rodgers situation. We'll talk about that when we come back. Hang in there. Broadcasting live here at the Tiki Bar today. And later on today, we're going to do the Chug Challenge, so get your beverage of choice ready. But going to be hanging out here and doing our Bud Light coming up a little bit later on. Hang in there. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back to the program, the Bill Michaels Show on the air, and we are broadcasting live outside today where the sky has become partly cloudy, the breeze still in the air, 78 degrees. It's nice. Nice. Good stuff here today. And we are brought to you by our good friends at Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the Bill Michaels Sports Talk Network. Talking about the just baseball in general today. Just talking about baseball in general today. And the game itself, we were talking about the offense or lack thereof. If the Brewers come back after a subpar performance in Cincinnati, what then needs to happen? Where does blame need to fall? Then again, here, this is from Steven, who says, what happens if the opposite happens? He says, what happens if the Brewers hit 8 home runs, score a total of 15 to 17 runs, get 3 wins over the Reds? Do we then come back and apologize on Monday? Or does one series make a season? Of course not, just like one series doesn't doom a season. No, you're right. It doesn't doom a season. But if one series is a consistent microcosm of what the season has been, you look at the track record, you look at the history. Okay, this is the way I would look at this. If they hit the ball really well in Cincinnati, we are expecting that because Cincinnati has a bad pitching staff. It is a bandbox at Great American, and Cincinnati, I don't believe overwhelmingly is a good team. So if the Brewers go into Cincinnati and hit the ball, my expectation would then be, okay, tremendous. You got a little breathing room. That's great. Now, let's pick up where you left off in Cincinnati and let's move forward and see what you do over the next 2 to 3 weeks. If they then go right back to the same old, well, then they beat up on a team that has a bad pitching staff. But if they come back and they consistently then play better as a whole, offensively as a whole, well, then you say, okay, maybe they've righted the ship. Maybe Cincinnati was just what they needed, and that got them off the schneid. And as much as bad hitting is contagious, hitting is contagious. And maybe that's the direction in which they go, right? But if they come back out of Cincinnati and they don't hit the ball, then you're looking at, it's not a pattern. You're looking at a history of bad hitting going back to last year. This isn't something that just happened. You don't say, okay, no big deal. This has been something last year they did not hit the ball very well. This year they have not hit the ball very well. There's a commonality here. We're over 100 games into offensive ineptitude. At that point, you have to look at it and say something needs to change. Does that make sense? I don't think I'm not one to start calling for people to be fired. I just don't do that. So for me to make that kind of an assessment, that kind of a declaration, I would say, looking at from outwardly in at myself, I would say, okay, but this is really serious. I mean, maybe you don't do it, and that's fine. That's a difference of opinion. But I do, because I think to myself that I think this is a better team than what we're supposed to be, what we're witnessing right now. At least they should be. And the shame of it is we've waited a long time to finally get pitching worth a damn. Homegrown pitching worth a damn. And you're looking at it just being wasted. And you just can't allow it to continue. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. From Richard says, hey, Bill, sorry if you've already touched on this, but I was just surprised when Jake Kumaro was Cup of the Packers. Do you think that Rodgers' drama was just starting out around this time? Do you think that this was a subtle message from the front office saying that we're in charge, not you? That's our buddy Tony from Eau Claire. Going back to the Packers discussion, which I alluded to before we came back from break. To answer your question, no. Nobody's cutting somebody because a player likes them. This isn't like they cut Devontae Adams. They cut a guy that was good. He wasn't great. He was a good route runner, and he was a guy that Aaron Rodgers trusted. But people act like Jake Kumaro was Jerry Rice. Jake Kumaro is Jake Kumaro. He was a guy that Aaron Rodgers got along with. He likes guys in the locker room situation. So, but I don't. I think what happened is you got Aaron Rodgers speaking out and saying, what a good route runner he is, and how he likes Jake, and he's a good locker room guy, and he's good piece, and all of a sudden he's gone. And then Aaron Rodgers feels a little stupid because he's giving him praise, and he's not even worthy of remaining on the roster. So that's it's not up to the organization to clear things with Aaron Rodgers first. It's not. I think if it's going to revolve around the offense, I think Aaron Rodgers is just simply saying, hey, give me a little bit of a heads up. I'm not asking for the decisions. I'm not going to make the decision. But if you've made a decision to get rid of somebody and you're going to put us in front of a microphone on a Wednesday, and you're cutting this guy on a Thursday or what have you, at least give me a little bit of a heads up, just so I can say, hey, I'm Jake's a good guy. He's done a lot for the organization. I feel really good about it. Blah blah blah. Then again, and Marty, you bring up a great point. Marty said this, and think about this. Marty says, if the organization comes to Aaron Rodgers first, and Aaron doesn't tell guys around him, doesn't it then separate Aaron from the rest of the locker room, as guys would look at him as knowing information about them but not being willing to share it? Wouldn't the trust factor go down? Great point. That's why you really have to walk a fine line when it comes to superstars in a locker room. They want to be treated differently. And for all intents and purposes, they should be. If you've got a superstar, a legitimate Hall of Famer, they're not your everyday interchangeable bid. They have a different level of cachet. They have a different level of meaning. They have a different level of value within your organization. you do treat them differently. But if you end up saying, hey, Aaron, little heads up, we're gonna cut Jake loose. I know it's probably not something you want, but we're looking at a lot of the different talent evaluators here and blah, 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 blah. And Aaron may even throw a fit, not Jake. Jake's the guy to get along with. Yeah, Aaron, he doesn't have the same skills, blah, blah, blah. Okay, there can be a difference of opinion there. Then Aaron can say, no, I don't want that guy cut. And they can say, we're cutting him regardless. We're giving you a heads up. We're not asking you for your opinion. So then Aaron has one or two different jobs. One, he can go to Jake and say, hey, they're cutting you. Screw them. I fought for you, blah, blah, blah. Or let's say he doesn't say a word. And Jake knows that Aaron knows. So now Jake's gone. He's out of the locker room. Other guys are in that locker room. Kevin King. Go back to Cole Madison. Look at other guys in that locker room that say, you know what? Aaron probably knows who's getting cut and who's not. Offensively, anyway. Dexter Williams. Dexter Williams is working his ass off, and Aaron may know he's getting cut and doesn't say a word about it. It's like, oh, can I trust Aaron? Think about the people you work with. People you talk to. You really trust. And you talk to them and you're like, hey, did you hear anything about this? No, I really didn't. I didn't. I don't know what's going on. I mean, like when you work for a corporation and you've got a manager that's a really good friend of yours, but he's your manager. And you say, you know what? Hey, Steve, I really would like to, know, I'm getting ready to buy a house. I'm getting ready to do this. Have you heard anything? What's going on? He's like, no, I haven't heard anything, man. And then you think to yourself, would he tell me if he did? And then you're like, okay, well, he's not acting any differently. So you go ahead and buy the house. And then 2 days later, they call you and you're fired. You don't trust that guy anymore. And people around you don't, in that building that were formerly your coworkers that you're on the outside looking in, but now they're inside that building going, man, I can't trust Steve because he's not going to tell me anything. Suddenly he's segregated himself from everybody else. That's the fine line you walk when you start to treat players as management or treat players as a conduit between them and decision makers. So I get if you want to be Gutekunst and you want to come down and you want to say, hey, how things going? What do you think? Do you like this guy? Do you like that guy? What about this guy? Do you like? What about that? And you talk about it and you take it all into consideration and you come down and you go, hey, Aaron, I know you really like Jake, but we had to cut him loose. There's another talent here. We want to open it up for this roster spot, or this guy is better on special teams. We want to make that, whatever. At least then you're letting him know after the fact. But, and you can come down and be empathetic and say, man, it was a really hard decision. I know that you really, like this about this guy. I know you trusted him. I know you liked him here. I know you like, but at least then there's a voice. But if you go down prior to and include Aaron Rodgers in these decisions, then he can segregate himself from his own guys in his locker room. Because think about it in the huddle. If you're a marginal player and you're in the huddle and you're looking at Aaron Rodgers and you're wondering if he's looking at you saying, I know he's cut, So it's tough. It's tough. Mark says, what about the ownership group, the board of directors? What hand do you think they play in this? I don't think they play any other than say, let us know what's going on. Keep us updated. Hey, Mark, what are you hearing? Mark Murphy, let's do this. I'm woefully late for a break. Let's do this. Stay tuned. I want to continue on this discussion. But I want to give you a little more insight into all of this. And you just kind of have to think it through. Sometimes you and I talking about it and we talk it through, it makes more sense in that particular vernacular. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show is coming up next.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Bill Michaels, we continue on broadcasting outside today at the Tiki Bar, about an hour away from the Chug Challenge. So get your favorite beverage ready as we do it every Friday, and looking forward to that. Saying hi to Steve, who is listening to us down in Alabama. You've got Christy, who listens to us every day out in Southern California, loving life in San Diego, although miss Wisconsin. Hope to be back for Summerfest. This is from Wayward Bound Dave. He said, returning from Florida, driving the family back. We are coming back through Georgia right now. Have you on the YouTube live stream. Great to hear your voice. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Hey, speaking of driving, if you want to be a part of our event and see guys that drive professionally, the IndyCar racing coming to Road America, and we want you there. We want you to be with us. We're going to be there on the weekend of June 17th through the 20th. June 17th through the 20th. We're going to be there on Friday. Boy, I got to get this right. On Friday with the live broadcast. And we're going to be sitting there right at the start-finish line doing the live show and then camping out for the weekend. And the brand new Big Unit RV and the Big Unit Cruiser. And it's compliments of our friends from Kunes RV, Kunes, Kunes RV. But the best part about this is that we want to bring you with us. Haven't you always wanted to go to a race and just kind of hang out and have everything paid for? We can do that. We can do that. We're going to give you race tickets for you and 5 of your friends. We are going to give you a campsite. So if you want to come and stay overnight, hang out for a couple of nights, we're going to have fun. Also, the day of the race, a tailgate party. That's right. We're going to supply the tailgate. Well, we're not. Quick Trip is. Quick Trip's giving us all the goodies. They're going to give us the brats and the hot dogs and the hamburgers and the buns and the snacks and the condiments and all that kind of good stuff. Bud Light is going to give us the beer and some other beverages to go along with it. And then our friends at Robert's Specialty Meats in Waukesha, he's got 40 pounds of ribs on a stick. So we've got this big, giant tailgate that we're going to put together, and it's going to be for you and 5 of your friends, and we're going to do it for a total of 60 people. How about that? How about that? And the best part about it is it's completely free. All you got to do is go to thebillmichaels.com, Bill Michaels, Michaels, thebillmichaels.com, and get registered. And have your friends register as well. That way, as a group, maybe one of you guys win. Or who knows, maybe 2 of you win, and you can bring in a bunch of more friends. So go and get registered right now. And we're going to draw these names here in a couple of weeks. And then we're going to get you with us. We're going to have a great time at Road America. And I encourage you, if you have never been, I really want to see people that have never been to Road America, never been to an IndyCar race, really want to see you go and experience it for I mean, if you're an enthusiast, then you deserve to go, and you're probably already getting tickets and probably getting your campsite together. But if you've never been there, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. There's a lot of fun. And if you don't have a camper, if you don't have a Class A or a Class C motorhome, if you need an RV, if you need a pop-up, whatever it happens to be, check out our friends at Kunes, Kunes, KunesRV.com, KunesRV.com. And the way we're going to get around the track, it's going to be from our friends at Road, Track, and Trail, based in Big Bend, Wisconsin, which is the world's biggest for snowmobiles, sleds, UTVs, ATVs, side-by-sides, four-seaters, whatever it happens to be. They got them down there as well. Whether it's helmets or riding gear, for all that kind of stuff, and snowmobile suits and everything, they've got all of that. Go to roadtrackandtrail.com, roadtrackandtrail.com. But we want you to come with us, so get registered. Get registered at the Bill Michaels website. 877-867-1670. Hit us up. Kinger says, will you get Luke Bryan on the show? Luke Bryan is going to be for the NASCAR. Luke Bryan's going to be for NASCAR. He's not going to be there for the IndyCar. But we're going to try. Luke Bryan, I don't think is, the way I understand it, maybe on Monday's show. Who knows? Maybe on Monday. If we stay up there on Sunday night into Monday, maybe on Monday's show, we'll do the show there again. That wouldn't be bad. Get him on and do that. That'd be a lot of fun, wouldn't it? Now, I'm not a huge country fan, but I've been to a Luke Bryan show. A hell of a show. As a matter of fact, when I went to see Luke Bryan, it was down in Cincinnati. And the way he came on stage was pretty badass. I'll give him that. They had a stage with like a ramp down the middle of it. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And as the lights went out and the sparks began to fly and the bright lights hit, he came flying out over the ramp on an ATV and then basically jammed on top of that thing for the first song, which was pretty cool. Pretty cool. But yeah, it was a sold out show down at Riverbend. Really good. 877-867-1670. This one's from Andrew. Said, would acquiring Julio Jones appease Rodgers? Saw an article that the Packers are interested in a possible trade. Would loading up for a Super Bowl run make Rodgers happy? It's a great question. So you would have Julio Jones, Devontae Adams, and then obviously Marquez Valdes-Scantling, another speedster, Equanimeous St. Brown, another speedster that you would have in your – and not a speedster. He's more of a go-over-the-middle guy. And then you have Amari Rodgers, your third-round draft choice. You would have a depth at wide receiver like not a lot of teams would have. And then obviously you would still have – one of the best pass catchers out of the backfield would be Aaron Jones. And you still have Robert Tonyan, Josiah DeGuara, Mercedes Lewis. Hopefully Jake Sternberger becomes something, Boy, you would have some serious talent. And then one of the best offensive lines in all of football with depth. I would have to say that's the best offensive football on paper walking into the season, not just because of last year's statistics. So would that appease Aaron Rodgers? It certainly would. Aaron Rodgers would think of one of two things, depending on how far apart they are right now. He would either think, one, boy, look what they're doing for me. I'm going to come back. That's going to be great. I got a legitimate shot at winning a Super Bowl. Or he would say, I've already told him to hell with them. So what they're doing is they're loading up for Jordan Love to make him look good. God, I wish they would have done that for me. I don't think the Packers can trade for Julio Jones, but stranger things have happened. And who knows how desperate they are right now. We'll wait and see. Getting back to the ownership side of things, and I'm getting a lot on my thread about Mark Murphy and about the board of directors about all of this. The Mark Murphy is the president of the team, and they have the communication and all that kind of stuff. But I'm honest. I don't want Mark Murphy making a lot of the football decisions because I just want to see him. The overall business of the Packers is what he needs to handle. If he needs to step in and correct something, then yeah, I think it's his place to do so. But I think the board really likes him. And let's be honest. I mean, what Mark has done is he took what Bob Harlan started, and he's accentuated it beyond belief to be a money-making machine in Green Bay. For all intents and purposes, Mark Murphy's done an incredible job. He just gets grief because when things don't go well, everybody wants to point their finger and make fun of the sledding hill or something. But in essence, that's exactly what he was supposed to do, is make money for this team. Nothing less. A lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. Another hour yet to come right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Brewers are in Cincinnati. It's where they'll open a 3-game set against the Reds tonight. Milwaukee is the month of May. On the first day of the month, they were 17-10. They have now lost 12 of the last 16 games, fallen below 500 for the first time since the first week of the season. Still, the clubhouse remains confident. Browns, says Corbin Burns.
You know, we know as a pitching staff and defense and offense, it's all going to come around, and we'll be looking back on it and saying, hey, you know, we were able to come together in a tough stretch, and we were able to pull through.
Milwaukee will send Adrian Hauser to the mound tonight. Reds counter with Jeff Hoffman. First pitch is at 6:10. Turning the Bucks, they're putting the finishing touches on their game plan for their playoff series with the Heat that will get going tomorrow. Milwaukee's been dynamic all season on offense, leading the league in scoring at 120 points per game. But Giannis Antetokounmpo says to beat Miami, they have to play at a high level on the other end too.
Game's not going to be about us, bringing our A game, offensively. It's going to be defensively. Being able to keep them, being able to not let them go downhill for the lobs that they like or the second side threes that they like. And offensively, we're going to figure it out. But at the end of the day, we got to bring our A game offensively, and our effort got to be really high.
Tip tomorrow is at 1.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
All business owners want the same thing, to make their business succeed. At Rural Mutual, they help that happen. As the third largest writer of commercial business in Wisconsin, they take the time to learn your business so they can properly protect you. Call your local agent today or visit ruralmutual.com.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, the Packers and quarterback Aaron Rodgers remain at odds, but the two sides are reportedly still talking in an effort to get the 3-time MVP back in Green Bay. That, according to ESPN, the Packers will hold their first OTA on Monday in Green Bay. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heilprin.
Hour number 4 of the Bill Michaels Show, and good news thus far because the rain has held off. I know most of it's out west, which is fantastic news as we are broadcasting live outside today. If you're following us on the Bud Light live stream, we certainly appreciate you being here and watching the program. And if you're listening to us wherever it may be, we certainly appreciate you listening to us over the air as well, or on the link going to thebillmichaels.com. So good day today. Really good stuff and a lot of good discussion, a lot of deep thought today. Today's a little different. It's not this bag of ire that, gets just kind of plopped out on the table and opened up. It's been a lot of deep thoughts and deep thinking and all that kind of good stuff. So I appreciate it. This is from and we're talking everything's wide open now because we have not touched it all on the Milwaukee Bucks. And the Bucks getting ready tomorrow to get underway at the Fiserv Forum. Game 1 against the Heat, 1 o'clock tip time, ESPN and ABC. So and earlier, as a matter of the program, I had said, "Are you in the?" I'm all in. I'm watching Bucks basketball. I'm into the postseason now. I'm in on watching Giannis. I'm in on watching Drew Holiday. I'm in on watching Chris Middleton. What this team is going to do. Budenholzer and his adjustments. The NBA. Whatever. I'm in. I'm in now. Whether you were waiting for the regular season to complete, and now is when your focus begins. Are you in, or are you of the ilk of J-Man who says, "Wake me when they get to the Eastern Conference Finals," or are you, hey, when they get to the finals, then I'll be back in? Because we've seen this before. This is wash, rinse, repeat. 877-867-1670. Kane fan says Heat in 5. Well, let me ask you this. Who you got? Who you got? You think that the Heat are going to be capable of beating the Bucks again this year after what happened to the Bucks last year in the bubble? I don't. I think the Bucks have something to prove. I think Giannis has something to prove. I think I think the Bucks. I think the Bucks in 5. I think the Bucks in 5. I know some people are saying Bucks in 6. I don't think it goes that long. I think the Bucks. If it goes 6 or 7, I don't know if the Bucks win. So the Bucks in 5. I don't think. I think Giannis is on a mission. Last year I thought they were, but I think things got sideways. Things got sideways in the bubble. Whether it was we figured out how to defend them, or the social justice issues that were going on back here in Milwaukee, walking off the court, setting precedent, whatever. I think there was a lot of things that happened last year, swirling circumstances that happened last year. I think it sidetracked the Bucks. This year, no. You got 50% at Fiserv Forum. You got to have 9,000 fans in Fiserv Forum, 3,000 of them outside, big screens all over. There's going to be an energy downtown. And people are, Bucks fans that are really, really salivating for this, they're energized and ready to go. Masks or no masks inside, they're energized and ready to go. I think the Bucks are going to get the win. I think, what are they, 10% right now down in, 10% right now down in Miami, which is only a few thousand fans. And they'll still be loud. I mean, inside a building, you'll be loud and boisterous, but it's not going to be like the energy at Fiserv Forum. So I look for the Bucks to get the win. Dennis said, did the Bucks overlook the Heat last year? I think so. But I don't even know if it's overlooking them. I think it goes back to the original statement of, I think the Bucks got sidetracked. I think they got derailed by a lot of stuff. I think, COVID. I think, going into a bubble and, all those circumstances. And then obviously the social issues and things that were taking place back here in Milwaukee and in Kenosha. I just think there was so many things going on that was taking their mind away from basketball. And this year, I think it's just the opposite. I think everything is calm. I think there is they went out and got Drew Holiday for a reason. They traded Holiday for Bledsoe, and Holiday's numbers get better in the postseason. I think PJ Tucker is going to play a role in all of this. I think, his lockdown ability, defensively speaking, is going to play a role in all of this. I think Chris Middleton is going to be looked upon. This is going to be his kind of step up, so to speak. And I know, I completely get it, that there is a lack of confidence in the Bucks right now when it comes to the postseason. And I think rightfully so. But I look at a guy like, say, Bryn Forbes, who we talked yesterday with Eric Name of The Athletic. And Bryn Forbes can be a guy that very quietly comes in and one of the best shooters in the NBA right now, percentage-wise. And I think when you look at a guy like Bryn Forbes, who can come in and start to hit things off the bench and just keep teams at bay, I just think Dante DiVincenzo is going to get his opportunities in a mass quantity in this postseason as well. I like the Bucks and where they're at. I like the Bucks that they got healthy down the stretch, even though you do, have Chris Middleton and Bobby Portis nursing some injuries. But I think that this team started to hit their stride, and they took their foot off the gas pedal because they could, because they were solidified in their spot. So I think they're going to, I got the Bucks in 5 over the Heat. And after that, we'll wait and see and kind of see how they play. But I think the Bucks are, I don't want to say on a mission. It's not like they're just going to come out and mow people over, but I think a few years of really being battle tested is now going to pay off. And I'm looking forward to that. Then again, you're talking about the Heat that went into the finals last year. They know what it takes to get there, but I don't think this is the same level of Heat talent, Heat team, Heat tenacity that they had last year. But Jimmy Butler's going to amp it up in the postseason. You know that. So, but I'm anxious to see if is it going to be Giannis or is it going to be Drew Holiday on Butler? Or are they going to continually switch off throughout the game to see who locks him down better? Because that's really going to be the matchup to watch. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Give us a shout. This is from Mark, who says, have not been a Bucs fan all season. I will watch some of the postseason, but I will be more interested to see when they get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Then they can prove it to me that they're worthy of my attention. Some will say that's not being a fan, but others will say, you know what? We've seen this, like I said, wash, rinse, repeat. We've seen this dance before. So, you know, it's not that I agree or disagree. It's that I understand it. I understand where you're coming from. This is Anthony. Anthony says, Giannis did not win the MVP this year. Therefore, he will win the finals MVP. Mark my words and book it. This is Anthony, another Anthony, by the way. Anthony listening to us in Whitefish Bay, just north of Milwaukee. Says, I think Giannis is going to be a powerhouse to be reckoned with. For the last couple of years, everybody has shown how to beat him. He is now getting better at arrow step, and the fact that he's got more guys to kick out to is going to bode well for Giannis. Once he gets single coverage down low, it's lights out. Brooke Lopez will have a big series as well. Appreciate it. There you go. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. This is over on the in the email inbox, and this is from Bud. Bud says, the Bucs have been not so thrilling all season long, but I think they're going to turn it on in the postseason. It's not a matter of flipping a switch. It's a matter of upping the intensity. This team has played some decent defense down the stretch, and I'm really excited to see Drew Holiday earn his stripes again in the postseason. This is the reason we got him. Now it's time to shine. That is from Bud. Bud, appreciate the email. Jennifer says, Hugh, I think it's going to be the Chris Middleton show. Look for Middleton to start coming up big and being the true Robin to Giannis's Batman. That's from Stephanie. Stephanie, appreciate it. 877, some interesting thoughts there. 877-867-1670. This is from John, who says, please, God, let the Bucs play extremely well and take us away from the horror show that is the offense of the Milwaukee Brewers. We need to be a fan of something right now. It's very hard to be a fan of the Green Bay Packers. It's very hard to be a fan of the Milwaukee Brewers. So please, Giannis, if you're listening to the program, make us proud. That's from John. John, that's excellent. I like it. I like it a lot. Then there's the argument going over on the Bud Light live stream between Kane Fan and Kinger. Those guys are going back and forth talking about none being overrated. Shots fired over there, putting them down. As Kane Fan says, the Heat in 5. Kinger says, nah. What is this? Suncubus says, does anybody know what country song was played in this show a little while ago? There was one that was called Beer for My Horses by Toby Keith. That was Toby Keith and Willie Nelson. Another Toby Keith song is How Do You Like Me Now? One of those two, I think, played in today's show. We had some Bon Jovi in today's show. We had some old Black Betty in today's show. And every now and then you get some Zydeco in the program. We're all over the road musically when it comes to musical taste in this program. 877-867-867 whatever the hell the number is. 877-867-1670. This is from Mark. Mark says, give me some Brewers baseball over the weekend and a Bucs win, and I will be happy. If the Brewers just come back with 2 wins, I'm not going to cry too much. If they get swept in this series, the Bucs had better win this series in 4. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm going to do for Milwaukee sports. This is from Ted, who says, all of our championship hopes now hang on the Milwaukee Bucs. With Aaron Rodgers not coming back, the Brewers stinking, it is all on Giannis and the Bucs to give us a legitimate shot at winning a championship. Otherwise, Paul Christ, if you're listening to the program, please, God Almighty, win us a national title. That's a terrific statement. On the other hand, I'm not going to do hey, which franchise is most likely to win the next championship in the state of Wisconsin? Huh? I'm not going to go there. But I kind of get where you're coming from. When you have an MVP in the NBA, a guy of Giannis's ilk, that can throw a team on his back and lead them to at least to the water, whether or not they drink it is up to the rest of them. But when you got that kind of a guy, it does give you a legitimate shot. It really does. You just accentuate him with some more pieces around him, and you could find yourself hoisting a Larry O'Brien trophy. But Think about it. Yeah. I mean, for the longest time, you kind of felt that the Packers were going to be the team to win the championship. You know, the Brewers in an NLCS against LA, maybe, you know, for a stretch there. But I said it back. I mean, if you're a Cubs fan, you know this. I said it back when the Cubs won, when everybody was talking about Schwarber and Bryan and Baez, and you started going through that list of players, and they're set up for a run of 3, 4, 5 years of championship. And I said, it took you 108 to get there. What makes you think you're going to be able to do it again next year, the year after that, and the year after that? It's hard to win a championship in Major League Baseball, and to do it in back-to-back years in fashion like that. It's not easy. So for the Brewers to be able to say, well, we'll get the Dodgers next year. No, the Dodgers, they continue with that $300 million payroll they had at that time. They added. You can't compete with that. You got to catch lightning in a bottle, which means everything has to come together at the right time in the right place for you to be a champion, of which the Brewers franchise have never done. The Bucks, they haven't had a superstar like this in a long, long time. In a long time. So, and even then, when you had Ray Allen, Sam Cassell, Glenn Robinson, Tim Thomas, Scotty Williams, I mean, you go through that list of players they had, they came close. And it was still a Glenn Robinson 11-foot jumper away from going to the finals, and they still didn't get there. And they had 3, 4 quality guys that could all be all-stars at any point in time. And they couldn't get there. So we all thought for a long period of time it was going to be the Packers. Packers were going to get back there and win it again. You're only a couple of players away. Team stays healthy. You're going to find yourself back in a Super Bowl. And now we're finding out how hard it is to get there. So as the Bucks venture towards the postseason, yeah, you probably would look at the Bucks and go, yeah, you know, this year kind of feels like we kind of just went through the season because of COVID and the way it was played, and not a ton of fans and not a raucous building, and we're living on highlights on SportsCenter, and we're watching the games and we're paying attention, and you're rooting for your team. You know, you're looking for Giannis. Didn't have an MVP style of season, so while he was good or great, he wasn't superlative great. You know, so you're kind of wondering, you know, well, how good is this team going to be? But very quietly, these things kind of seem like they're coming together. I can't explain it. I don't have an explanation for it. I just have this gut feeling that this is it. They're going to end up in an NBA Finals. Now they could just as easily get beat. I get it, but I just got this gut feeling. I don't know why, but I just do. So I'm excited for the postseason for the Milwaukee Bucks. The Brewers, on the other hand, I'm hoping to come out of Cincinnati with a little bit of positivity, because on Monday when you and I reconvene, we want to be talking about a Bucks win and a Brewers at least 2 out of 3 from the Cincinnati Reds, and the bats coming to life. Who knows? Maybe as Aaron Rodgers gets ready to talk with Kenny Mayne, there's more breaking news in the Aaron Rodgers front. And there's more positivity coming out of the Rodgers camp that he wants to return to Green Bay, and the Packers are throwing open their arms and giving him the contract extension that he wants. And there's a kumbaya moment, and things really go from somewhat tumultuous in the state of Wisconsin to now ramping to the positive, up and over the positive. We're hitting a new high. That would be the best case scenario. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's all coming up next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Broadcasting live outside at the Tiki Bar, hanging out today. Still warm, nice, 78 degrees, a little bit of a breeze. Clouds have kind of darkened in a little bit. But feeling good. Feeling good today. I don't know about you. In the meantime, we go back to just kind of let you know the PGA Championship. Phil Mickelson, lefty, is in the lead right now in the clubhouse. 5 under, shot a 69 today. Victor Hovland, 4 under par, and he is 1 under. He just got underway a little while ago. Brandon Grace, 3 under par. He is in the clubhouse after a 1 under day today. Bisenhout, he is 3 under par as well. He is 2 under for the day. Martin Laird is 3 under. Keegan Bradley is 3 under. Brooks Koepka is 3 under. Aaron Wise is also 3 under. And you've got a whole bunch of people that are out there on the golf course. The defending champion, Colin Morikawa, he is at 2 under. He will tee off a little bit later on today. And so that's kind of how things rounding out right now. Regarding the PGA Championship. 877-867-1670. Welcome back. And for those of you following us over on the Bud Light live stream, a reminder, you just saw the video if you're watching on the live stream. IndyCar Racing coming to Road America, and we want you there. It's next month. We are less now than a month away. 4 weeks from today, we are going to be broadcasting live. I think it's actually 4 weeks. No, it's 4 weeks from today. 4 weeks from today, we're going to be broadcasting live at Road America. And it's the NTT IndyCar Series Rev Group Grand Prix presented by AMR. It takes to the legendary track June 17th through the 20th. I'm going to be there. We're going to be doing our show. We're staying up there for the weekend. We want you to come with us. Come and hang out with us. And we're going to set you up with race tickets, a campsite, a big tailgate party, kind of a meet and greet. We're going to have a bunch of fans there, listeners there. You're going to be there, all kinds of good stuff. But to get registered for this, you got to go to the Bill Michaels, the T-H-E Bill Michaels, M-I-C-H-A-E-L-S, thebillmichaels.com. And you scroll down a little bit, and you're going to see a little placard there with the Indy cars on it. Click on it, and that's how you get registered. It's that simple. And if you're looking for a camper, an RV, pop-up, tow behind, whatever it happens to be, and you don't have one, and you're going to stay on site, get a hold of our friends at Kunis RV, K-U-N-E-S, KunisRV.com. That is KunisRV.com. And you can rent one and try it before you buy it. Or if you're looking for something to tool around Road America, maybe looking for something that you're going to take to, the North Woods, the ATV trails, whatever it happens to be, side-by-sides, ATVs, UTVs, snowmobiles, road track and trail, go to roadtrackandtrail.com, the world's largest provider of that kind of equipment, of all kinds of power sports. And they're based right here in Wisconsin. I didn't know they were the world's largest, but they are. They got a huge property down there. I was down there the other day. But they're going to provide us with a side-by-side to kind of get around. And if you're looking for something like that, you can do that too. So go to Road Track and Trail. But don't forget, all the racing action all season long at Road America is fantastic. It's a beautiful, beautiful venue. It is the National Park of Speed. It is just awesome. So we hope to see you up there for the IndyCar race and for the NASCAR race as well. I think they got super bikes coming this weekend. It's either this weekend or next weekend. I can't remember. But super bike week is coming up too. That's really cool because those motorcycles it's amazing. 877-867-1670. Phone lines are wide open. Dennis says, Bill, if we're still in limbo with Aaron after Monday, we should know something on June 1st, right? No. I don't. I know people are looking at June 1st as some kind of an emancipation day as far as information goes and Aaron Rodgers goes. But I think you wait on it a little while. The team is in a very precarious position. If Aaron Rodgers is, over on one side, if Aaron Rodgers says absolutely positively, I don't even care if you call me again, I don't want to hear from you. I am completely done. Guys, read my lips. I am not coming back. Then I think you work and wait until the very best deal comes along. Or if you want to be obstinate and say, I don't care who it is, there is no one that is going to tell us what we have to do. So we are going to go ahead and say, well, then enjoy the rest of your career hosting Jeopardy, because your career in football is over because we are not giving you away, which means you're going to either have to play for us or you're going to have to go do Jeopardy. Okay? And he may say, okay, who knows? But if you are saying, what do? Do we do what's right for the organization and get the most for this guy? Well, then at that point, you probably would say we're going to trade him away. But I don't think you do it on June 1st or June 2nd. I think now teams that are going to want to trade for him are going to want to get him into the situation as quick as possible. But you don't have training camps until July. So unless you're getting a deal in which you're getting a haul back and you need to get your quarterback in here right now with the Matt LaFleur system, I don't know that you go ahead and do that right away. I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know that you do that right away. I think you wait it out. I don't think June 1st or June 2nd is the Emancipation Day. By what is it, June 8th, I think? I think it's June 8th is the next mandatory minicamp for the Packers. And that's when the fines begin. And there have been people, Jacob asked me, he said, if they fine Rodgers, they'll just waive the fines. Don't worry about it. No, that's not true. The last collective bargaining agreement, and we've talked about this, but the last collective bargaining agreement between the players and the owners, fines are now fines. The team either used to waive them or the team would pay them and pay it to a charity, whatever. Not anymore. Now the player pays the fines. They have to. It's written into the CBA. They have to. There's no way around that anymore. So, maybe by June 8th, we know something, I'm hoping in the next 2 weeks, there's resolution to all of this. You kind of get the sense that something's going to come to a head. Now, the whole Kenny Mayne thing, I can't for the life of me think that Aaron Rodgers is just going to bust out with a ton of information on ESPN. I mean, he may, who knows, but it's just the only thing I see him doing in some way, shape, or form is throwing the team under the bus. If it comes to that, I see him being very diplomatic and very California cool, saying, hey, it's out of my hands. I mean, that's where he could throw it. He could say, my people are talking to the Packers. I really don't have any more information. None of that. I got to think if Kenny Mayne's his guy, that if indeed this is going to be an interview, if Kenny Mayne's his guy, then Kenny's going to say, what do you want to talk about? And Aaron's going to say either go ahead and ask me questions or, hey, let's talk about this, but I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to get into that. I got to think if that's your boy, you don't throw your boy under the bus. So I don't know that I see a lot coming out of the interview with Kenny Mayne. We're all going to be watching, but I don't think at least I don't think so. But, stranger things have happened. 877-867-1670. Kinger is arguing still back and forth over on the Bud Light live stream and says, if the Bucks can't beat the Heat, I'm going to eat my hat. Kaner says, get a tasty hat. That's fantastic. That's awesome. Michael writes, what is that in the background? Are you watching the PGA Championship? That's on right there. You are correct. He also says the Brewers will take 2 out of 3 from the Reds, score an average of 4.5 runs per game. I would hope. I'd love to see. Give me a couple of nights. Give me tonight when you got a guy on the hill that is not even that good of a pitcher. So give me a guy tonight that you can put up, say, 6 or 7. Put up 6 or 7 tonight. I'd love if you put up 6 or 7 against Hoffman, 4 against Sonny Gray, and you get a win. Either flip that with Luis Castillo or not, is depending on because I'm not expecting a sweep, but if they get 2 out of 3, I'm pretty happy. And if you can score 12 runs, 12 runs on average, 4 runs a night on average, but say you get 6, 4, and 2, or, whatever. Okay. It's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. If you come away with 2 wins and you hit the ball, okay. But don't give me, in the game in which you only score 2, don't give me 2 solo shots, or you win on a pass ball on a strike 3 and an error or something. When really you didn't hit the ball, you just had a guy walk and advance a couple of times, and then he comes home on an error, and that's still not getting the job done. So it's a win, you take it, but I want to see the team against a bad bullpen specifically. I want to see the team hit the ball. 877-867-1670. Hey, our friends at Scholze Family Farms Beef, they want to remind you that if you're like me and you're looking at right now at the grilling setup. Now, I don't have the smoker over here, but I got the grill right here, okay? So if you're going to do some tailgating, whether it's like in your backyard like I do, or it's out of the ballpark, whatever it happens to be, get a hold of our friends at Scholze Family Farms Beef. ScholzeFamilyBeef.com, SCHOLZE, ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. And you can be grilling steaks and chops and fillets and those ribeyes or the tomahawk ribeyes. You can smoke them. Like if you got a Traeger grill like I do, smoke those things. Fantastic. Fox Smokehouse Barbecue, Salty Provision Seasonings, all that good stuff. They carry it all. And what you do is you go to ScholzeFamilyBeef.com and you type it in. It comes up and you can look at like the sampler box and kind of put it together. And if you get it, you like it, then you can order a subscription. You can pick out the things you do like, you don't like, and you order it, say on a Wednesday, it's sitting on your doorstep on a Friday or a Saturday, and that way your weekend grill out is fantastic. Maybe you're going to go up north and you say, you know what, I don't want to miss it. Okay, have it delivered up north. Or order it on a Monday, have it delivered by Wednesday or Thursday. Keep it in the box. It's packed in dry ice. Keep it in the box. By the time you get up north, then open it, and it's still fresh. It's still good. It's so good. Easy way to do it. Go to Scholze, SCHOLZE, ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. That is ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. And if you're out in Humbird, Wisconsin, Black River Falls area, stop in. Say hello. Tell them we sent you. They've got a terrific old-fashioned farm store. Great farm store there. So either way, whether you're going to here in the state of Wisconsin, the upper Midwest, servicing all over. So get a hold of them. Scholze, SCHOLZE, ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. That is ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. Let's do this. We'll step away. We'll take a quick break. We are a couple of segments away from getting out the glasses and the Chug Challenge coming about. Go to ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. And then when you have that meat, get ready to wash it down with a good Bud Light. We're going to do the Chug Challenge coming up here shortly. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
It is a Friday, and we are glad you are with us. Welcome back to the Bill Michaels Show. A reminder, if you're looking for something terrific to do and you're looking for a one-tank trip and a getaway, do what I did last weekend. Kristen and I went up and had a terrific time at the Four Seasons Island Resort on the beautiful Miscano Island, now open, by the way, 7 days a week. And all the Marinette County ATV trails are open, which, remember, I was telling you about Road, Track, and Trail. If you're looking for an ATV, a side-by-side, a UTV, a utility vehicle of any type, or maybe a four-seater, Road Track and Trail. Go to roadtrackandtrail.com, this Power Sports Center, the world's largest power sports center. Good Road Track and Trail people over there. Go say hi to everybody. Nick's the guy that runs the thing over there. Go say hi to Nick or Kelly over there in the finance department. But really, really good people. Anyway, that being said, load up the side-by-side, head up north, get on the trails right off of the island, either side. There you go. You're off. You're running. There's hundreds and hundreds of miles of UTV and ATV trails up there. Otherwise, they have this year guided waterfall tours. They've got golf on the island. You can rent a pontoon boat. You can go fishing, canoe rentals, kayak rentals, volleyball, sand volleyball court, tennis courts are up there, basketball court right there as well. And in addition to that, they have got great food. The Diamond Room has great food. By the way, the scallops up there. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. They have got the Boundary Water Sports Bar and Grill, Lily's Ice Cream Parlor. They've got an old-fashioned arcade for the kids. There's so much to do, and a big indoor saltwater swimming pool, hot tubs, saunas. It's really cool. It is Northwood's finest. It's a really nice getaway. So head on up to the Four Seasons Island Resort, the beautiful Mexicano Island, and tell them we sent you. And if you want to get a hold of Barb, get a hold of our girl up there, Barb, B-A-R-B at thefourseasonswi.com. That is Barb, B-A-R-B at thefourseasonswi.com. We didn't make it. Just an FYI, we didn't make it. I'm glad we're undercover. It is starting to rain. The cameras are out in the rain. The equipment is staying dry, but it has just started to drizzle very finely here. So we've got, another 16 minutes to go, something like that, 17 minutes to go before we're out of here. And we didn't make it. So I'm sure the gang is, people are wanting to tear it down. They're like, we got to get this out of the rain. Nope, just hang in there. We'll get through. Just throw a plastic bag over stuff for right now. But nevertheless, we almost made it. A new character to the program, our good buddy Ben Kenny. Ben, how you doing? Introduce yourself to the gang.
Bill, what's going on?
So
it's good.
No, I was going to say, so Ben is producing now for the program. And so, Ben, tell some people about yourself, where you come from, what you do, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, so I just graduated UW last month, technically. But I cover Wisconsin Badger sports for USA Today up on the Badgers Wire. You can find that on the internet, on Twitter. And then I'm on the Locked On Badgers podcast. So all Wisconsin Badger sports. I am new to the Wisconsin sports scene, the Packers, Brewers, Bucks. But it's good to be here. I've been in Wisconsin for about 4 to 5 years. So I'm still getting acclimated.
So your degree was in what?
It was in journalism, or it will be.
Okay. So have you crossed the stage and gotten the sheepskin yet, or what?
I walked during commencement last month, but I technically have a couple classes left.
Okay, good. All right. So what do you got left?
A couple just gen eds.
Oh, okay. Well, then there you go. That's easy enough. You can get
it's tougher than they say.
Yeah, well, so you came from the East Coast. You came from Philadelphia, right?
Yeah.
So how did you end up in Wisconsin?
So I wanted to go to a school with big sports, and I didn't really look at other parts of the schools. So when I visited Madison, it kind of all stuck out. My dad and I would just go to sports games, whether it's football or basketball at every school. And Wisconsin stuck out.
So who did you follow on the East Coast? What school?
We didn't have a college school. I'm from the city of Philadelphia. So
right.
Temple basketball, Villanova basketball, but there's no big football school in Philly. Penn State's there, but everyone kind of hates Penn State.
Is it just because, or, just because the old knock on Philadelphia is they hate everything. So,
well, yeah, that's true.
So did you just hate them, or was there a particular reason why?
I don't really know. I think it was the attitude of them being on the other side of the state, more towards Pittsburgh.
Gotcha.
And we hate Pittsburgh. So we kind of grouped them both together.
Yeah. See, I've always thought about that. And it's so funny because people in Ohio, where I grew up in Cincinnati, hate Cleveland. And Cleveland hates Cincinnati. And neither of us could give two damns about Columbus because that's just a whole weird area anyway. But we all cared about Ohio State football. But beyond that, nobody cared about the city of Columbus as a whole, because that's where all the politicians live, and everybody could have just blown that up and been good with it. So, no, I completely get it. So the number one thing, and I heard this the other day when you were on with Ebo in the morning, and it always gets brought up. Well, you're from Philly. You guys hate Santa Claus.
Ugh.
Right? That's the number one thing that gets brought up to you?
It's either that or the batteries, which, first of all, both happened 20, 30 years ago. But also, Santa was a drunk fan.
Right.
Like, Santa wasn't this guy there at the game, like, promoting Christmas. He was a fan in the stands who was drunk and being an idiot. And the Eagles were down, I don't know, 25, 30 points. And he wouldn't stop running his mouth. So people threw snowballs.
That's awesome, man. It's just some drunk Santa that just happened to come stumbling out of some reindeer stable and finds himself at a Philly game. That's awesome. So did you grow up like a Phillies fan and an Eagles fan, or were you other?
Yeah, big time. I was kind of
too?
raised on, not as much. I was raised on baseball and football primarily. And then the other are kind of on the side.
Now, you never got a chance. Did you ever go? You never got a chance to go to like the Forum, right?
Oh, I did actually.
Did you really? Okay.
Yeah. I would have my birthdays there, go to minor league hockey games.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Because what is it, the Wachovia Center?
Yeah, it was the Spectrum. Now it's the Wells Fargo Center.
Okay.
I think that was around like 2005, 6.
When it first got built was back in 2001, 2002, something like that. I'll say this. I remember going to Philadelphia. One of the best stories I ever had coming out of Philadelphia was, and I've told it before, but for the Eastern Conference Finals, when I was traveling with the Bucks, and the guy that we went to the cheesesteak places. What is it, Geno's and Pat's?
Yeah.
Okay, so
they're really overrated. I'll say that.
It's
but
terrible.
yeah.
It's. I'm not a Cheese Whiz fan. So the Philly cheesesteak I love, but I love it with real cheese. I don't like it with the Cheese Whiz. But you know how kind of nasty they can be. You know, inside the windows. I wasn't, but the guy that I was with worked for the Bucks, and he had a Bucks logo shirt on, and they acted like they were spitting in his food. And it was really, whether or not we even wanted to eat it was questionable. But our taxi driver, who was from Jamaica, backed into a Mercedes SUV when he was trying to park for us to go leave. We left the hotel. We were going to go get the cheesesteak and then go to the arena. And he backed into a Mercedes SUV. And he said, you guys go, you go, man. When he was telling us to go get our cheesesteaks while he deals with the insurance side of things for what he did. And then we get done, we eat. We leave in the cab, and we go around the corner. He pulls in between two buildings, and I'm like, oh, my God, we were a witness to this. This guy's going to kill us. He goes to his trunk, and I thought, if he pulls a gun out, dive out and just start running. And he pulls out. He rips the name of the cab company off the side of his car, throws it in a dumpster, puts a new one on magnetically, throws his driver's license out the window. He became a whole new cab company right there. Right there. It was the best story ever. He's like, I never catch me, man. It was great. But then again, I thought, okay, we're on the lam at this point. We're part of this. So now we got to get the hell out of Philadelphia alive. But yeah, no, Philly's good place. The Citizens Bank Park is the baseball stadium, correct?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. When they had us there for the Brewers Phillies playoffs, and Yovani Gallardo was on the mound making his return. I'll never forget that. They put me behind a pole in the press box. I mean, literally, they put a seat next to a pole, a big steel girder, and I couldn't. I had to lean over the whole time and just see, and only see pitchers to the left side. I couldn't see anything to the right side of the field at all. That's where they put me. So I've never had a fondness of Citizens Bank, although it is a beautiful ballpark. I got a chance to walk around it, but yeah, I'll never forget that too. They set me behind a pole. So
yeah, I was at that game back in my youth.
What, were you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was well, it didn't turn out the way the Brewers had wanted it to, but that was a tumultuous year because they had fired Ned Yost, and for the last 13, 18 games or something like that, they had Dale Swaim, and Dale got him to the postseason, and Yovani came back and threw but didn't throw well, and they just couldn't hit the ball, and that was when Ben Sheets, he went down with an injury and couldn't pitch, and so it just kind of went by the wayside. Anyway, there you go. That is Ben Kenny. Ben is producing the program. Do you have anything to drink in the studio? Did they leave you with beer?
I don't. Well, I have to drive home after this, but I do have a Poland Spring sparkling water. Okay. I was going to ask what this Friday chug off was.
Friday, it started early on in the podcast, and a Kinger, by the way, who follows us on the Bud Light live stream, gave us the Chug Challenge, which is what David Bakhtiari did to Christian Yelich, who did it to Aaron Rodgers, and started downing beers. And he challenged me. He said, hey, you can't do this. And so I did it. I did it on a Friday. And he says, is this going to be our Friday thing? So it just kind of became our Friday thing. So everywhere we go now, whether we're at home or whether we're on the road, like last weekend up in the Four Seasons, you get your beer out and you chug one, and that gets our weekend started as we end the program. So let's do this. We'll step away. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Chug Challenge coming up. Stay tuned. We got more coming up right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Bill Michaels Show. We are broadcasting live. We're outside today, and the good news is that as the program kind of winds down, the light rain has indeed stopped. So that's good news. We did make it. We got a little bit of sprinkle here and there, but for the most part, not a bad way to go. I'm Bill Michaels. If you want to get a hold of us, keep following us over on the website. Go to thebillmichaels.com. That is the THE BillMichaels.com, and you can hit us up. There's links over there for Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all that kind of stuff, I believe. If not, you can follow us and subscribe for free. It was really cool. We're at almost 1,600 subscribers on YouTube. We're trying to get to 2,000, obviously. But if you want to subscribe for free, please do so. Go to youtube.com and just search Bill Michaels, and you'll see a picture of me up on a stage or silhouette or something like that. But if you can click subscribe and follow us there, that would be fantastic. That would be awesome. But you can also follow us over on the Facebook fan page. You can follow on Twitter. Twitter is Bill_Michaels. Twitch TV as well. But any one of those links, when we go live, you'll get a notification. If you follow us, like us, subscribe to us, whatever it happens to be, you'll get a notification that we are going live. So coming up this weekend, obviously you got Bucks basketball tomorrow, 1 o'clock tip time down at the Fiserv Forum. You've got, in addition to that, the Brewers coming up tonight as they get back at it in the Queen City, taking on the Cincinnati Reds' terrible pitching staff. So hopefully the Brewers' bats can get hot. You've got the PGA Championship. Phil Mickelson, lefty, right now, leading the PGA Championship. He is your clubhouse leader as his round went off earlier today. So he is in the clubhouse 5 under par right now, and he's 2 shots up on the rest of the field. So it is time for the Chug. Today's glass, by the way, has a ghost on it. See that? Has a ghost on it. And that is from, I think I've done this before, but it is Shaker's Bar and Grill, or Shaker's Bar, not Grill. Well, they have a grill down there, I guess. But Shaker's, it is the third most haunted bar in the country. And they do ghost tours and all that kind of stuff. So kudos to Bob for giving us the glass. And as a matter of fact, I might be heading down that way tonight. I think I'm going to stop into Stenny's and get something to eat, relax a little bit, watch some of the Brewers game, maybe go down to Shaker's, have a cigar, and call it a night. That is a restful night. Tomorrow night, I got some friends that are going to have their band playing. If you're in the Milwaukee area, West Allis area, we're heading over to Roscoe's tomorrow night. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to get out and do some motorcycle riding tomorrow, too. It's supposed to be really, really nice. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, it is time before we get out of here. It is time. Kinger and Company, I told you we'd have a surprise for you today, and the surprise is we did the Tiki part today. So time to do the Chug. Here we go. There you have it. Chug Challenge on a Friday. It's always good to start your weekend off properly and get you going. When we come back on Monday, we hope we're talking about a Bucks victory. We hope we're talking about at least 2 out of 3 and the offense waking up for the Milwaukee Brewers. We hope we're talking about maybe some resolution when it comes to the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers, and this whole scenario. If not, the lead-in to Kenny Mayne's piece with Aaron Rodgers is going to be almost, if you want to consider it must-see TV, I guess you could say it's going to be must-see TV. But we're gonna kind of delve into all of that, and then I think on Monday it's either going to be with you and I. It's going to be either whoo, finally the Brewers are starting to hit the baseball, and they did it against a team in which they should hit the baseball in a ballpark in which it's very conducive to hitting the baseball, and now they come back home with a little bit of a head of steam, or we could be holding up a milk carton saying, I don't know where they left Andy Haynes. They buried him somewhere. If you've seen this guy, you may want to alert his family, but Andy Haynes, the hitting coach for the Milwaukee Brewers, whether or not he should or should not have a job coming out of this series. So we're going to get into all of that discussion as well. So Ben Kenny producing the program, and I'm Bill Michaels, and thanks to everybody for paying attention to us, always on the Bud Light live stream. Don't forget, go to thebillmichaels.com. Get registered for the Indy event. We are throwing a tailgate party. We have got free food. We have got free beer. By the way, somebody had asked me, they said, was it just Bud Light? Beechwood Sales and Service, which is also Bud Light, they have multiple beers. So we're going to have some Stella Cidre. We're going to have some Little Kings. If you don't know what that is, we called them Little Killers growing up as a kid. That'll make all your hair fall out. Good stuff. We're going to bring all kinds of good stuff with us. So we want you to get registered. We want to take you with us. We want to take you with us. So hopefully you get registered, and hopefully you're a winner. We're going to take one winner from every market. So somebody from Wausau, somebody from Marshfield, somebody from Platteville, somebody from Madison. We're going to take them from all of our markets and take you with us. So we're looking forward to that. Go to thebillmichaels.com. That's it. That is it. Good one today. Great way to end the week out here in the Tiki Bar. We'll do more of these. I like this. And let me know if you like this today. Let me know if you like the scene, like the setup. Had a good time today. Stay tuned for whatever else is coming up on your upcoming stations. But time for us to go. We'll talk again on Monday. Until then, have a good one.